And welcome to the NFL Draft.
Just one pick away, baby.
One pick, and we can take the North.
One pick away from running through the whole NFC.
Not if you run into them boys. You got more burgers than rings.
The Raiders are going to run this draft.
Hot take, Joe.
Not as hot as our next pick.
Our season's on the clock. Our future's on the clock.
Our legacy is on the clock.
NFL Draft, Detroit Lions,
Chicago
Las
Bears,
Vegas, Pittsburgh Steelers. Select.
That's the one! That's the pick!
That's a quicker intro than our normal ones, huh?
Well, yes.
It used to be that I could sit back and do whatever for 3 minutes. That sounds kind of vague.
We know what you were doing.
Yeah, especially during that lingerie intro.
Yeah, we know. It's interesting. I'm trying to pick this like live free trial thing, and it gives the different prices for like the different plans. But the Latino, so like these different plans go $75, $85, $95, or the Latino plan is $25. So
You are at the right show, Matt. Don't worry.
What is happening?
trying to figure out how we're going to stream the draft since we don't have our usual guy Magoo for a little while this morning.
My YouTube TV stopped streaming yesterday. I paused it until football season starts back up again.
Oh, here, let me I got you guys. Hang on.
Matt's on top of it. Yeah, they upped their price again. What was their normal plan, Jordan or Justin?
This is for Fubo.
That's what I was about to send you guys my login for that, so you can.
Oh.
I just got to remember what my password is.
Welcome, KHY001. This is a very professional podcast.
I was just going to say that.
Not sure about the Cowboys, but they did draft 2 Michigan players, so.
I don't want to have to manage the muting and unmuting, so I'll just give you guys my login and
here we go.
You guys rock and roll.
That works for me.
I just I had Fubo for a while, and then I had YouTube TV for a while, and now that there's no football season, I don't really need it, so I canceled my YouTube TV, and then realized, oh wait, now I need something, and Fubo is the only one like this that has a free trial. I think that I felt like I wasn't gonna go looking at a bunch of different stuff, so picked it back up again.
YouTube TV keeps increasing their prices on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you don't cancel and just pause for a few months, they don't lock you in at the price that you entered on. No.
What's the point of pausing?
Right, that's a sham.
Okay.
We're in.
There it is. And the pick is in. We get the
just in time.
Was that the first pick of the day?
Yes, I believe it is. It's the Saints. So
Trey is not happy about the draft time.
They always do the final rounds in the middle of the day, though.
Yeah, has it always been the first round on one day only?
No, it used to be the first 3 rounds were on Friday night, and then you had 4 through 7 was on Saturday, and it started in the middle of the day like this. They just over the last few years they changed it to where it was round 1 on Thursday night, trying to make it a big thing.
Because it used to be May as well, right?
Yeah, I think it's right.
103rd pick of the 2023 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select Nick Satorabi, a guard.
All right. Nick Saldiveri of Old Dominion is the first pick of.
What are they going to give the poor little kid? Like one of the hardest names to say.
Yeah, come on, New Orleans. You got to recognize you got a little kid doing it. You got to pick a different person.
Yeah. Pick a bait. Yeah. Pick Steve Jones.
John Smith.
George Floyd. I don't know.
They seem pretty happy, the autism acceptance crew.
That's so unfortunate.
I can't.
Well,
they do not.
We know why.
They need some, like, I was going to say they need some like brand marketing experts to be in the room and be like, yeah, maybe don't put autism acceptance like front and center on it, but that's probably because they do have like brand and marketing experts that they have autism acceptance up there.
Probably. We've mentioned it.
How do you think Nick Scaldaveri feels about that? Like, they're accepting me and my autism? Thank you.
At least from Old Dominion, so.
They should have given her Henry To'o. Then she really could have struggled.
Tutu.
Tutu.
I love that Roger Goodell still gets booed every time he walks out there.
Doesn't matter where he is.
I think he embraces it at this point.
Yeah, is there something comparable in other sports where you have? I mean, every sport despises the commissioner of the sport, but is there another one where the commissioner has to routinely come out and just get the shit booed out of him?
They used to do that to David Stern, not so much
Fuck
Adam
David Stern.
Silver. Probably because Silver has such a Jewy look that they're worried it would be considered anti-Semitic. But like David Stern, he just looked like a human frog, so he got it pretty good every time he came on stage.
Not this kind of frog though.
He deserved every last bit of it.
Oh, here we go.
Jacorian Bennett, defensive back, Maryland. Yeah. There you go, Jacorian Bennett, one of the fastest players in this draft class. Ran a 4.3
saying the name at all.
4.3 flat. So there is still some Al Davis influence in the Raiders locker room.
This is speedy.
These picks will go pretty fast, so I'll try to keep up. Let's see. What do we got on Jacorian Davis? What do we know about him?
Never even heard of him.
Or sorry, Jacorian Bennett.
This is all I have to say about it is it's the second Maryland corner. The first Maryland corner was in the first round, so
I've heard he's
5'11", buck 88. So that's decent size for a corner. Not real big, but also not small. He's about average. Apparently, he had a really good vertical.
Oh, yeah, 40.5. His 10-yard split was 1.48. Holy crap.
Didn't allow a touchdown, apparently.
Yeah. Projected in the fourth round. High-cut cornerback who's more of a catch challenger than an instinctive ball hawk. The high passes defense total is an example of how aggressive he is at the catch point. He's clearly effective at tilting the 50-50 ball in his favor. However, his coverage tends to lack the needed anticipation and discipline to stay connected to NFL route runners. He's got good size, but his coverage strength is a mix and match of man and zone, with both featuring inconsistencies that will likely follow him into an NFL camp. So it seems like he's probably more instinctive than smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of corners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if they were smart, they'd be wide receivers.
When I first started following football as a kid, and these corners would be drafted high, or these corners would be lauded as the best in the league, I'd look at their stats, I'd be like, he doesn't have many interceptions. And then it was taught to me that I was like, well, that's because he doesn't get any balls thrown his way, which is what makes him a good corner.
Yeah, you want to look for pass defenses, breakups, knockdowns. There's a lot more that goes into
percentage of
corner than
throws
just
in your
than just
direction.
interceptions.
Eagles are on the clock.
Pick is in.
Any Georgia players left?
Keely
See
Ringo.
what kind of special. Yeah, I mean, there's Ringo. See what kind of special ed person they walk up there to give the pick.
It's too bad Jim's not here to hype this up because he was really talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, did you just give away the pick?
No, I'm saying like he would have been. I don't know who it is.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying he was talking like at the end of the thing yesterday. He was like, "Oh, Philadelphia's coming again. Are they gonna finish it off?"
Yeah, because they ended up not getting Darnell Washington, but let's see if they finish or at least get Ringo.
Officer Don Aponte.
I need to open Twitter and see what's going on.
With the 105th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Keely Ringo.
Oh, no
That
way.
is.
They did it.
So
That is
it's Bama,
unreal.
or it's Georgia, Bama, Georgia. Are there picks?
There was another one stuffed in there. But, yeah.
There's Jim. There's Jim in the chat. That's amazing.
They're gonna just convert Jim into an Eagles fan. He's not even gonna mess with the Falcons for a couple years.
Oh, he's a bigger corner.
Yeah, I say he's a good sized dude too. I'm kind of surprised he fell this far. Was there, Matt? You've probably got it pulled up. Was there something that like caused people to have pause with taking him? Because there have been a bunch of other corners that have gone that are significantly undersized or have holes, and I thought he was a pretty good like NFL corner in terms of his size and just the way he matches up defensively on most people.
So Lance Zierlein had him projected in the second round and comped him to Jimmy Smith. He said he's a boundary corner with an impressive blend of size and athleticism. He's uniquely suited to travel the field and match talents to get some of the bigger targets in the league. He can press and does a nice job of controlling plays in front of him from off coverages. However, he's very average at anticipating breaks and transitioning with them to squeeze the top of the route. His physicality and coverage and in run support are big assets in his favor, but there's still some work to be done in consistency of coverage.
I mean,
His
that's
traits will
every
be
young
highly
dude,
coveted, and he has a chance to become a very good NFL cornerback if his route recognition continues to develop.
Yeah, I mean the negatives that they were saying was like every young corner. That's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the Eagles got a steal on that one, and it has kind of been a situation of they just sort of have taken whoever the best guy still on the board was, and it just happened to all be.
Jeez.
They traded a future 2024 third to get this pick. They traded the 2024 third straight up for this pick, so they wanted the guy.
There it is. Jalen gets hurt, then that position's in good hands.
Oh, here we go.
Use the next year's draft for it.
With the 106th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Blake Freeland, tackle, BYU.
Yeah, Chris Ballard's been consistent in this draft. He has pursued guys with.
Apparently, Keely Ringo told Jordan Schultz that he can run faster than the 4.36. He can run much faster than the 4.36. He clocked at 6.2. Jordan Schultz, the son of Howard Schultz, speaking of David Stern. Very sad, embittered former Sonics fan here.
Was that the end of NBA fandom for you? Was the end of the Sonics?
No, I actually probably the closest I followed the NBA was it was like right around the let's see, it was LeBron. I followed LeBron pretty closely for a while when I was in college. So LeBron at the Cavs and then going to the Heat. It was right in that stretch where like the LeBron-Kobe rivalry was the most intense.
Yeah.
That was I followed the NBA pretty closely then. I did NBA fantasy, and so I was doing like NBA fantasy and MLB fantasy and NFL fantasy, and then NBA just kind of fell off my radar.
I was firmly on Kobe's side of that debate, and so we would have been opposed to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in hindsight, I like Kobe as a person a whole lot more. This was back before LeBron was revealed to be an insufferable airhead.
Right.
I was a big Spurs fan, so I absolutely hated Kobe, but also had a huge appreciation and respect for Kobe.
Kobe's just interesting. Just an interesting guy.
I wanted Manu Ginobili to have a plane fall on his head.
The 2014 finals versus the Heat, that Spurs team. The Spurs weren't known for offensive basketball, but that was some of the best offensive basketball I've ever seen. That was
the Spurs
like
offense was impressive. It just wasn't like flashy, high scoring type of a. Like,
yeah, that particular year they just had a lot of like Kawhi was just sort of beginning his rise, and then Duncan was still on the team. Ginobili's coming off the bench.
When they were firing on all cylinders, they just carved people up.
They had like Danny Green, who like knew his role well, which was you only stand behind the 3-point line and shoot. Don't you dare go inside the 3-point line.
Right, play good defense and shoot threes. Don't get cute. Don't try to like be a ball handler or drive or anything like that. Like play. He was the like the second coming of Bruce Bowen. Like they always had that guy that play good defense, shoot threes. Don't try to do anything else. Know your role. And all right,
Bruce Bowen was like the paradigmatic Sixth Man Award guy for so long.
They should rename it. The
Yeah.
Bowen Award.
All right, I have
So
to jump
Keely
off here.
Ringo.
I gotta go pick my daughter up.
All right, sounds good.
Be back in a
Are
little
you
bit.
the one? Are you the one running the stream?
He is.
Mark has.
Can I do the volume? Oh, I can. Or can't I?
Let me see.
Waiting to run.
Right.
Just run it. Dare to dish differently.
All right, we are back here in Kansas City. We're still in the show you every single pick from the podium mode of our draft coverage. The Patriots pick is about to be announced. The Seahawks just made
Is
their
it letting you mute
selection.
it?
The Texans are on the clock.
Are you
First
trying to
time
mute it?
today. At 2 of the first 3 picks.
Nice.
And they traded both of them.
All right,
They
looks like
traded
that
both of
worked.
the Raiders.
So you should be able to control volume and stuff from there. Yeah, I'll be back in about an hour.
So Keely Ringo says he dropped a bit because he's dealing with a shoulder dislocation and a labrum tear in college, as well as a concussion. So some injury issues.
Contributed to his fall.
Mm-hmm. Seahawks are on the clock. Seahawks pick is N.
So this is behind, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the Patriots pick came out quite a while ago.
Is it a Bill Belichick pick?
Yeah. It's not like yesterday's Bill Belichick pick, pick a hybrid defensive player from a unknown school who would have been an undrafted free agent otherwise.
Sounds about right.
But it is fairly Belichickian.
When do you think Belichick starts to think about retirement? Or do you think he's already thought about it?
I mean, if they're rolling with Mac Jones this year, after how things went last year, obviously he's not like going all in for a championship right now. So that tells me he's probably planning on at least another few years. Maybe he's going to just give it one last shot with Mac and then roll out. But
yeah,
I think he's probably planning on being around another 5 years at least. I kind of wonder if he gets pushed out before he like which comes first? He gets pushed out or he decides to retire? And I kind of think that he might get pushed out first.
Yeah. Yeah, Kraft was definitely more pro Brady in that whole dispute.
Right. And I can't imagine that didn't leave some hard feelings to some extent or another.
Mm-hmm. Jake Andrews is the pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just selected by the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and Jake Andrews is going to play next to David Andrews on the offensive line. He's got experience at guard and at center. Played center this year. He started 37 games, though. 2 years at right guard, 1 at center. I love the fact that you get a former.
Did you see have you seen the Seahawks pick yet?
Yeah. Another guy I've never heard of. So I'm informing myself quickly on what I should think about it. I'll be curious to hear what Daniel Jeremiah's thoughts are. That Seahawks green showing up there just makes my heart feel warm.
Yeah.
Not your guy. It's not your guy, and
It's a little too close to Michigan State green for me.
All right, so are they gonna announce it here? The Texans pick is already in, and I think the Colts pick might already be in too. Let me see.
Draft. The Seattle Seahawks select Anthony Bradford, guard, LSU.
Yeah, this is a big physical guard, 332 pounds. Tested really well. He's got tremendous anchor. So when you're thinking about interior offensive linemen, you want guys that can really anchor and pass pro, and then can you move people in the run game? To me, anchor's what he does best. Does a nice job positioning and walling off there at the first level. Once you get out in space, I thought that was an issue. You can continue to grow and develop and get better. He's played some left tackle as well. He could get you out of a game if you needed him to do that, CD.
took 2 tackles last year, both of them starters as rookies. They drafted Zach Charbonnet yesterday to add to Kenneth Walker. So Pete Carroll's letting us all know I'm still going to run the football. And Anthony Bradford, a big, strong, physical guy inside. Reminds you a little bit of that guy he's already got there, huh? That Jackson guy, Luke Jackson. There you go.
Does Pete Carroll letting everyone know that he's still going to run the football warm your heart?
It is what it is.
I mean, you
actually
got those running backs, so
right, and the way that they rolled with Geno last year, it almost seems like Pete wants to pass the ball primarily, but he wants to use the run to set up the pass. So he wants to pass, but he wants to pass really effectively, and so he believes in order to do that, you have to run the ball really effectively. Which, I mean, it's a
the play.
It's a conversation that's been had. Yeah.
Jalen Horton, defensive end from Texas Christian University. Go Texans!
Rich, you saw a lot of this guy in that Michigan game. That was a dominant performance from him in that one with the pressures and sacks he collected. He's a little bit of a tweener, some inside-outside flex.
I'm sorry you had to hear that.
Right, and they have it as like one of his pros here.
Physical,
Excellent, versus Michigan.
Set that edge. That's what he does very well. You can kick him inside, let him penetrate a little bit as a rusher. Here's showing his ability to just get inside gaps, win right away, right off the snap with that quickness. That was what showed up in that Michigan game over and over again. He's a smooth, fluid rusher, good overall athlete.
Even when they go away from the Michigan highlights, they go to West Virginia, where
it's
it's
run. If he would have ran, I think
there's
he
no
probably would have
Michigan.
gone a little
That's
bit higher. He
enough
would have
of
tested.
So the holy crap, the story on Bradford, the guy the Seahawks took. He is 6'4", 332, and he ran a 5.08.40.
Wow, that's a tank.
Yeah, he's a
global player still on the board.
Monstrous man.
There was some time after the.
So our boy from Northwestern is finally selected.
Oh, there he is. Adetomiwa Adebawore.
Based on where this guy was projected and based on the Colts draft, they've had a real good draft.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say that. The Colts have they might have my favorite draft. I don't remember exactly what they I remember really liking their class yesterday. Obviously, Anthony Richardson. Oh, they got Josh Downs too. That's right. Let me see if I can see all of their picks thus far.
They're right here on the screen.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh.
A corner. I can't remember. Josh, or was it Brents? It's Jay Brents.
Oh, Julius Brents. Colts. So they took Anthony Richardson, Julius Brents, cornerback, Josh Downs. Then they took Blake Freeland, offensive tackle out of BYU, and Adebawore. So, like, 3 of my favorite prospects, Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs, and Adebawore.
I don't know anything about the Cleveland class.
Let's see what they've done so far. Cleveland. Cedric Tillman and Siaki Ika. Siaki Ika seems like a Browns player, just through and through. Big old Samoan or Tongan or whatever guy from Baylor. Big space-filling defensive tackle. And Cedric Tillman's a nice pick, too. He's a good wide receiver out of Tennessee. It'll be interesting to see if Deshaun Watson returns to form or anything close to it.
I was just about to ask, do you think Deshaun Watson is the answer for the Browns after years of futility at quarterback?
I'd be very surprised if he just completely fell off a cliff, because he's a very talented player. But all of that time away from the game and being so distracted, it could have set him back. And it's pretty easy for that sort of negative thing to turn into a negative spiral, like a positive feedback loop that just spirals a guy out of the league. Man, if he flames out, that franchise is just fucked for a long time.
Just cursed. There is no hope.
My conspiracy theory is that the other owners, however they needed to, worked together to ensure that the Browns made that deal, precisely so that, one, they could take down the Browns just because everyone likes to beat up on the Browns, and number 2, because it ensures that a contract like that's never going to be given out again. So it takes the pressure off of the owners.
I like that theory.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right, so Seahawks homer moment again. Going back to that Anthony Bradford guy, there's a statistic called relative athletic score that there's some guys on Twitter that keep it up.
It sounds like a score you give a white guy who is a little more athletic than he looks.
They rate all of the players on athletically. They rate them on a 1 to 10 scale, with 10 obviously being the best. He's a 9.8 out of 10. His weight and bench press are elite. His vertical is very good. His broad jump is very good. And then his 40-yard dash and 20-yard split and 10-yard split are phenomenal. So he's got really good straight line speed for his size. Pretty explosive, but laterally not quite so much, which, I mean, he's 6'4", 330 pounds.
Yeah.
Jones, tackle,
Jones.
Ohio State.
Oh, there he goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a whole lot of man right here.
This guy's gigantic.
Jones, huge wingspan, huge frame. And even if he gets beat quickly in a pass rush,
6'8",
one push, and you still have to get around him. My comp for him, Trent Jones, with the New England Patriots. Another massive, Trent Brown, a massive man who's going to play tackle. And him going to Cleveland now, I'm thinking to myself, How does that work? Jack Conklin's already there. Jedrick Wills is there. Kick him inside a guard. You got Batonio and Wyatt Teller.
Is this track
that's
trailer?
Right. Yeah, here we go.
Trailer?
Look out.
Holy crap.
That's crazy.
What a massive human. He was a guy that was getting some first-round buzz at one point after the combine, mostly just because he's freaking gigantic and pretty athletic for his size.
He's giant. There's
Holy
some protection
shit.
for Watson.
He has the biggest hands I've ever seen. 11 5/8 inches.
What? How
That
does
is
that?
insane.
How does that compare to like Shaq hands?
I don't know about Shaq, but I think that's in like that might be in like Giannis territory. Let's see.
New England Patriots select Chad Ryland, kicker, Maryland.
Yeah, the Maryland.
Let's go.
All right. All right.
Why was
Chad,
that so
I
hard
see
to
her.
say?
I see it, Chad Ryland.
He just had to
Once
recompose
again,
himself.
Can be draft
Full
picks
whack.
too. Let's see Chad kick. Look, right through the uprights. Look at this. I just love doing the XO. Oh, against Michigan. All right.
I see you've added a tracer to your
It's
exos.
all right.
this year. Nice.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Now, let me just say this on behalf of Jets fans. If this guy, we let the Patriots choose this guy. If we get Aaron Rodgers and all of a sudden it comes down to a field goal game, and
I don't know if it really. Unless you want me to turn it back on. It just
No,
wasn't
you're
very
good.
Interesting.
Yeah, so his hands, Giannis's hand span. So you have, let me get this here. So your span would be here to here.
Mhm.
That's how it gets measured. Giannis's hands are 12 inches. So it's 1 foot from here to here. Mine are like 8.5 to give you some context. So like 3.5 inches longer here. This guy, DeJuan Jones, his hands are 11 5/8. So 3/8 of an inch smaller than Giannis. And his wingspan is 87 7/8 inches. Like anything over 80 is massive. He's at like 88 inches. He's one of the biggest human beings to ever play the game.
Just a specimen.
And he's
That
not.
he's
It's not like
created in
he's
a
like
lab.
Yeah. It's not like he's just an athletic freak who can't play either. He's pretty nimble and yeah, that's crazy.
So the Falcons just took a corner. C. Phillips the third.
Yeah, I wonder how our boy Magoo feels about that. He should be in here giving us his commentary.
Right.
I forgot to check the.
Oh, he's from
comments.
Germany. Okay.
Yeah. That means he's good people.
He's got that old blood in him. That old German blood.
His wingspan is 87 7/8. Johnny Hecker's wearing like is it like Lederhosen and
Oh, is this the
word I
pick
can-
here?
Select Chandler Zavala, guard, NC State.
Oh, that's a name I
And
know.
you know what we say?
Keep what?
Outstanding. Let's keep pounding. Here we go. Chandler Zavala.
It sounded like the F word.
Yeah.
Keep bucking. I don't think that's what it was, though.
That would be great.
So you know this guy was on your radar or what?
Yeah, he was just a name that I was aware of as someone who he had like second to third round buzz, but I don't really know anything about him. We're out to the point now where I know. Let's go see the top players available and see the ones I know. Let's see here, tracker, prospects, undrafted.
I knew we were going to get his.
Yeah. So Maya, 7 inches more than Justin. A.T. Perry, I know who he is. J.L. Skinner, Israel Abanikanda, Andrew Voorhees, Luke Weipler, Jacqueline Roy. I think that's probably about it. They've basically tapped me up at this point. I got through the first 2 days knowing who basically everyone was. Oh, Henry To'o.
Can't forget him.
Nick Herbig, linebacker out of Wisconsin. Colby Wooden is a defensive end, defensive tackle for Auburn. He's kind of an interesting pick. Jamie Robinson from Florida State rather. He's a safety. Okay, yeah, there's still some pass rushers that I know too. But yeah, nothing else.
Are currently running a flag football league for girls aged 12 to 14. Majida is one of the players. She's captain of her school team at Elm Green. And she's going to announce the pick for the Chicago Bears.
With the 115th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft pick, the Chicago Bears select Rashawn Johnson, running back, Texas.
Hey, good job.
There
That's
was
a fun
talk
pick.
about them taking a running back from Texas potentially in the first round. Bijan Robinson had been.
He
mentioned
seems like
as
a Bears
an
pick.
opportunity there. He went one pick ahead.
This guy is a tank.
Yeah.
I think he was either first or second in the nation in something like yards after contact or tackles broken or something along those lines. It was like him and Bijan.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple of Texas games. I'd be like, man, their backup's just as good as Bijan. He probably isn't just as good, but I mean, on tape he looked good.
I thought he was going to be a Seahawks pick because I didn't expect to see the Seahawks take a running back in the second round. Yeah, that's a. So what's their? Let me think here. What was their depth chart? We were talking about it yesterday. Let's see. Oh yeah, DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney. So pretty good wide receivers. Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan. Dante Foreman, Khalil Herbert, now Roshan Johnson. They got some. He and Dante Foreman are going to be wearing people out.
It sounds crazy, but I would not be surprised if it's the Lions and them at the top of the North battling it out.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling that we're probably going to start seeing Kirk Cousins in a battle with Father Time.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is like perpetually in a battle with himself. So adding Father Time in there with him is probably going to be curtains pretty quick, I'd say. I think that fall is going to come quick and hard.
Yeah, and if the Vikings record was not as good as what it showed last year, I think the Bears lost some games that they definitely could have won.
Mm-hmm.
So that could flip around this year. And then you could just see more of a Fields rise as well.
Yeah, this year they've actually got some talent. C87 said, do you think the Bears could trade Mooney by the trade deadline? I don't think they would want to. I think that DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney is a nice wide receiver room. When you have Dante Pettis, Velus Jones Jr., and Equanimous St. Brown as your starting wide receivers, that's a problem. But once you've got them as your 3, 4, and 5, or your 4, 5, and 6 rather, that's much better. Okay, the Packers made a pick that I like.
There you go, Justin. Must not have been a corner. Or maybe it's a corner that Matt likes.
A guy said trading up to draft a kicker should remove Belichick's Hall of Fame capability.
Did he really? He traded up for that one?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You could have got him later, buddy.
Someone said it was probably a round too high for the top long snapper on their board. I like DTR. I actually think that DTR could be pretty good.
I like him too. Who is the backup there in Cincinnati?
I want to say it's someone like it's not Colt McCoy, but I want to say it's someone like him. Let's see. Jake Browning.
Okay, Washington.
UW. Yep. Oh, I forgot they got Irv Smith. Damn.
Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick.
Mm-hmm. No round too high for your top long snapper. It's kind of funny, like people laugh, but not having a long snapper, like if your long snapper gets hurt and you don't have a good backup or something, you could lose a game strictly because of that alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Brandon Allen, that's who I was thinking of. Stetson would be another nice.
16th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Colby Wooden, defensive tackle, Auburn.
Yeah, listed him as a defensive tackle. This is an intriguing player because he's moved all over the line of scrimmage. You see him at nose tackle. You see him all the way split out on the edge. I thought they might list him as an outside linebacker, somebody who's real physical. You think about they already
So he's a
drafted
bit of a
Van
tweener.
Ness. You have Preston Smith. You have Rashawn Gary. They like those big, heavy set edges that can also give you some rough.
Rashawn Gary, I get pissed off when I hear his name.
Why is that?
Because he had like all the sick measurables and came in with, he's like the number 2 recruit in the country when he came to Michigan, and he had a fine career, but he never really like panned out at Michigan, and he's been pretty good since he got to the league. So I think it was a system thing.
It always weirds me out when I remember he's an outside linebacker, because that's a total defensive tackle name.
City Sal.
And he played mostly defensive
Michigan.
end.
All right, Eastern Michigan.
Oh, here's
We go
another
to
Patriots
Ypsilanti,
pick.
now making its way to Foxborough.
First tape I watched on him was against Arizona State. He was excellent. I started talking to some teams like, what's the deal with this guy? Why isn't he getting more love? Torque and power. That is what his game is all about. Excellent on combo blocks. He'll give up his chest a little bit in pass protection, but he can anchor down late. He's going to be a starter. Really good football player.
The best wide receiver on the board still is probably A.T. Perry. Let me see what NFL.com says. Oh yeah, Tyler Scott's still out there too, out of Cincinnati. And then cornerback. According to NFL.com, it says Terrell Smith out of Minnesota, Jay Ward at LSU. I don't recognize any of these names, so I'm not going to be much use there. Or there's Rajon White. I know that guy's name from Oregon State. I just know his name because his name is spelled Rejzohn. And it makes me wonder if that was just like his parents' way of getting J and Z into a name together. Like they wanted to name him after Jay-Z but didn't want to make it too obvious.
Gotta figure this out.
Let's see here.
C87, I wasn't super thrilled with the first round picks, but I think they've actually rounded out their draft pretty well. I like the Hendon Hooker pick.
Were you here last night when we were talking about how if you just rearranged the picks, the order in which they took the guys, it would seem great? Yeah.
Yeah.
Take him there, baby, come on!
So they've taken 2 defensive backs and now 2 offensive linemen with their first 4 picks.
Yeah, and Eric Bieniemy.
Who did they hire to pretend to be a Washington Commanders fan?
That's what. Oh, that is what that was, isn't it? She was,
yeah, I mean, there's no actual.
Well, I think she was a native, an indigenous person. Redskin.
Was she really?
It kind of looked like it.
That would be hilarious. That'd be like the peak pandering move. You imagine the boardroom, they're like, hey, get some engine.
She comes out in an old Redskins shirt.
With like some feathers in her hair. A little face paint. City Sow is such a weird name.
It is. City Sow. Sow. We'll go with Sow.
Chiefs moving up. Trading with the Vikings.
They got to get that third best kicker after Patriots started the run on kickers.
Dylan Horton on gaining weight to play defensive end. Emphasis on carbs, snacks, and fruits. Did you see Alan Faneca make the first pick for the Jets yesterday?
No.
He's like do you remember him? He's
sounds familiar.
The guard for the Jets for a long time.
Okay.
Went to Louisiana State. So he was a hefty dude, obviously as a guard. And then he dropped a whole bunch of weight and became he started running marathons. Let me see if I can find the picture of him from yesterday. Apparently he has epilepsy.
Oh.
That'll little extra calorie burning there to lose all that weight.
The marathons are a front. That's bad.
It's all the shaking that's doing it. Oh man. It's crazy, these guys, though, that to see what these offensive linemen especially have to do to keep their weight up.
Mm-hmm.
They eat astonishing amounts of ice cream and pizza, to the point where a lot of these guys talk about after they retire that they're just sick of eating like shit to try to keep their weight up. They make themselves sick trying to keep their weight up. And so you'll see a lot of them will just drop weight big time right as soon as they retire. Here's a picture of him.
Pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. And with that being said, with the 119th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the current Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs select Chamari Connor, defensive back, Virginia Tech. Welcome to Chiefs Kingdom, Chamari!
Nicely done. Chamari Connor, to me, I think he's going to be a nickel.
Justin eats an astonishing amount of ice cream, too. No wonder he's not getting fat. Or no wonder he is getting fat.
I eat I'll eat plus or minus a pint of strawberry Haagen-Dazs ice cream most nights before I go to bed.
Ooh, strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of bland with the Haagen-Dazs. I typically go the vanilla or the vanilla bean.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that their flavored, most of their flavored ice creams do have the soybean oil in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The reason I do the Haagen-Dazs strawberry is because it's got the fewest ingredients.
Okay. Other than vanilla, probably.
Oh yeah. Other than vanilla, I think vanilla might have some artificial flavoring or something in it.
Okay.
But it, compared to most stuff, like most ice cream, if you look at the ingredients, it's just loaded with shit. So this is the next best thing above just making my own. I'd love to be able to make my own, but
yeah.
Yeah, so the Chiefs went with a corner.
That's your Ray Pete diet, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Shout out Ray Pete. R.I.P. Rest in power.
Rest in power, buddy.
Let's see. So, Jets are on the clock. Jags, Cardinals. Oh, hey, Seahawks are coming again.
I bet there are a lot of ingredients in the Kroger brand cookies and cream.
Something tells me that Justin doesn't give a shit. I thought Buck said he was going to make it this morning. We need to shame him.
Yeah.
He said he was going to make it and he had to leave by noon.
He sent some hideous picture of a woman.
Oh, that's
Do you
right.
know who this is? Gotta love
And he
Cole.
said, "See y'all soon" when he did it too. I'm feeling very lied to.
Same.
Not a single shit. Yeah, that's what you get after you eat a Kroger brand cookies and cream. Not a single shit.
This is true. 100% true.
Oh, interesting. I didn't put this two and two together. So the Seahawks drafted that Anthony Bradford kid, the LSU offensive lineman. He would have been teammates with Damian Lewis, who they drafted out of LSU a couple years ago. Buck's hanging out with the chick he sent the pic of. Getting him some herp.
There was a draft a few years ago, and the Seahawks drafted a Michigan receiver, and someone brought up to Pete Carroll the whole Jim Harbaugh Carroll rivalry, and Pete Carroll goes, "Yeah, what's your deal? What's your deal?" Because that's what I think it was when Carroll was at USC, and Harbaugh was running up the score on him, and then when they met at midfield for the handshake, Pete Carroll says, "What's your deal? What's your deal? What do you mean, what's my deal?" And then that continued when Harbaugh went to the NFC West, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was so much fun, that rivalry. I hated Jim Harbaugh back then.
Which is fair.
But then, it's kind of come around now where few NFL personalities fill me with more delight than Jim Harbaugh.
So it's one of those things, you love him when he's there and you miss him when he's gone.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh's first career NFL win came against Pete Carroll.
Interesting. I think Carroll ended up, so Harbaugh had his number at Stanford, but then Carroll sort of returned the favor in the league.
Yeah. It'd be a lot of fun if they made it back.
I mean, it would be fun, but I prefer that Harbaugh stay in town.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't recognize like any of these names here, and Daniel Jeremiah is best available, except for Tal.
Yep, don't know the guy the Jets took. Oh, it's probably not been announced yet. So apparently, I've seen numerous reports now that Mike McDaniel is just absolutely in love with Devin Achane. This was like his guy from this draft that he needed to come away with. So Devin Achane may be destined for great things.
A sneaky fantasy pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Carter Warren is the Jets pick.
Carter Warren, yeah, tackle.
This is the round for offensive linemen.
Yeah. Yeah, this draft was just, by all accounts, was not an inspiring draft. This was the year to trade out of if you could. So they've, they got Will McDonald and Joe Tippmann. Those are both very good players. But yeah, so by the time we get down into this, I think basically everything from like the 15th pick to the 40th pick, there was a lot of pretty comparable players in there. And then from the 40th pick until now, I think a lot of the players are fairly interchangeable.
Yeah.
Jags pick. Cardinals are on the clock. So here's some knee-jerk running back NFL draft impacts. So fantasy stock going down would be Tyler Algier, DeAndre Swift, Ken Walker, Jamal Williams, Hassan Haskins, Raheem Mostert, and Khalil Herbert. It's interesting that he has Mostert going down, but not Jeff Wilson. I
Yeah.
think it'd be the other way around. Oh, Jaguars selection. Let's see who this is.
The 121st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Ventrell Miller, linebacker from Florida.
Yeah. All right. Pick being made from one of the many clubs that Sean Conn owns, the Fulham Football Club. Ventrell Miller is now staying in the state of Florida.
Yeah, this is usually a big linebacker day, day 3. Didn't get a chance to see him in the Senior Bowl. He missed that because of foot surgery, but can really, really close. When you watch him close from the middle of the field to the sideline, you see the speed show up. He's physical. That goal line stand they had against Utah, he makes an unbelievable play down there. I like to see him catch the ball a little bit better in coverage. Doesn't have a ton of size at just under 6 foot, 232 pounds, but plays really, really fast.
So now the picks are coming in fast. Furious. Arizona's first pick.
Never mind.
The 122nd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select John Gaines II, guard, UCLA.
They go back to the offensive line. They've already added Paris Johnson in round number 1 to play tackle. Now you go out and get an interior lineman in John Gaines. Plays a little bit top heavy at times. He really likes to latch on and wrestle. Like to see him play a little more knee bend. But when he gets on that one track and he gets up to linebackers, he wallops them. Quickness is just okay as a guard to me. I thought he was probably more of a swing backup, but he'll have a chance to compete for a job there.
And he said,
I actually like what they've done. I think Paris Johnson, B.J. Ojolari, those are both great picks. I actually kind of like what the Cardinals are doing, as much as I hate to admit it.
Have you seen the Seattle pick?
Yeah.
All the way from Canada, please welcome Tyler Johnston.
All right. With the 123rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Cameron Young, nose tackle, Mississippi State.
This defense is going to have a lot of good young players now. They've added Derek Hall.
Well, Justin's the Mississippi State guy, but we're not going to get any analysis from him as he looks for his daughter.
Big, strong, and powerful, long arms. The pass rush is still a work in progress with him, but the motor is excellent. Plays hard. His play tempo and style is going to fit well in Seattle.
I texted a GM about all these names, and I got this one on this guy. Stout, old school, tough, you know what, from a different era. I like that.
And speaking of old school, so some scout called in the pick and said nose tackle specifically.
NT.
Nose
There we
tackle.
go. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Put him on the center and make his life miserable.
Wow, 9 tackles for a loss or no gain. 2021. So NFL.com comps him to Avery Jones. So he's basically a space eater.
Okay.
Naturally powerful prospect who's able to take on capable challengers and come out in good shape despite playing with an elevated pad level. Plays with early hands and a heavy punch to gain positioning quickly against single blocks. Has the core power and contact balance to force double teams to work. Also, he does a nice job of fighting against washdown blocks, maintaining gap integrity against zone. Has the size, length, and strength to become a proficient run defender, but offers very little as a pass rusher. He'll be seen as a natural nose tackle, but he could see snaps as a 5 technique as well. So basically, yeah, he's just a gigantic space eater.
How much is your division? Is your division taken into account your opponents when drafting for your roster?
I think, especially down in the depth levels like this, very much so.
Yeah.
This is where, if you're in a division where you got to like face Christian McCaffrey twice a year, then you're probably going to pay a little extra attention to your run defense.
Yeah,
and probably your linebackers too. So yeah, definitely. And then like if you've got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson in your division, then if you're like the Raiders, then you're going to pay some extra attention to getting premier pass rushers, big cornerbacks, that kind of thing. And then if you're facing teams with big pass rushers, then you're going to want to make sure you've got an elite left
Your
tackle.
line short up, yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing about the running backs, I thought this was interesting. So here's the guys whose stock is up. Rashad White, Tony Pollard, Isaiah Pacheco, Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Pierce, Damian Harris and James Cook, Antonio Gibson, and Cam Akers. But there's still Zeke, Fournette, and Hunt out there in free agency.
Yeah.
Where do you think Zeke winds up?
I don't know. It's a good
Feels
question.
like he's going to want to go to a contender. Someone who you think he'd go to the Eagles?
Literally, that name just popped in my head. It's like, why not just go there? That's. I mean, it was your rival for your whole career, but we've seen that happen before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably his best chance at a ring.
Mm-hmm. Let me think here. I'm gonna pull up the standings so I can sit here and look at the teams and think about them.
Yeah.
So AFC East, you've got Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. So, I don't really see it.
He didn't really fit in with the Bills.
No, they've already got. I mean, Damian Harris and James Cook are fine.
Yeah.
Dolphins seem fairly set at running back, and they don't. It doesn't strike me that they would splash on a kind of a glorified goal line back. Patriots, no, they've got enough going on. Jets are very fine at running back.
Yeah.
Breece Hall, Michael Carter. Bengals, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. That's one to consider.
It's probably going to be a team that's willing to pay more than a running back is worth. Someone who wants to splash on him for his name value.
I wonder if the Chargers are to trade Eckler.
Yeah, I could see that. That would be an interesting spot. I think if nobody will spend money on him and he winds up taking a cheap deal somewhere, then I could see maybe like the Raiders.
Yeah.
To spell Josh Jacobs.
The Jags popped in my head, and they just drafted. I saw they have ETN. Then they just draft a running back too.
Yeah, they just drafted Tank Bigsby.
Okay.
Vikings, maybe. Rumors Dalvin Cook is gonna get traded or cut, but I mean that's not an upgrade.
No.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Darius Davis, wide receiver, TCU.
There's your speed receiver.
It's a second wide receiver at a TCU they've selected.
Yeah, went right back to the Horned Frogs, and you see the speed right here. He can absolutely fly. Justin Herbert having somebody that can get over the top. Jalen
They got the big guy from TCU and
that element in their offense. So now
funny
you've
to
got
see him
two
standing next to each other.
Frogs that can get down the field. Quentin Johnson, obviously much bigger. You can use Darius Davis on some of the jet sweep stuff as well. Just get the ball in his hands and let him go. Those are Chargers.
I think Herbert was hindered pretty significantly from that early rib injury he got.
Yeah, I agree.
Because his numbers weren't what I expected them to be. And he also had receivers in and out all year, too. So I think he has a bit of a renaissance year this year.
Yeah, I think you called Hughes your early season MVP pick last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might have been a year early on that. I could see him really taking off this year.
Yeah, him or like Justin Fields if the Bears are good.
Mm-hmm.
Could be an MVP candidate.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
With the 126th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Isaiah McGuire, defensive end, Missouri.
really good tester here with Isaiah McGuire. He'll stand up on the edge or play with his hand down. When he can generate power, he doesn't necessarily even need a runway. A lot of guys, you got to really widen them out. They can get going, generate that power. He can do it immediately. He plays with strong hands. Thought that the immediate get off was okay. The bend was okay. A little bit tight, but when you watch him against Georgia in their premier left tackle, he was able to jolt him with some power.
Myles Garrett needs a running mate.
When we come back, it's the Saints pick that belong to the Jaguars, which is
All early declare wide receivers to be drafted top 25 and put up 2+ what is this, yards per target on play action, maybe? It's YPTPA. I think that's yards per target play action. Okay. This is a relevance here. This is a Quentin Johnston tweet. Yards per team pass attempt. That's what it is. Yards per team pass attempt. That's an even better stat. So these are wide receivers who declared early, were drafted top 25, and put up at least 2 yards per team pass attempt in every one of their collegiate seasons. Calvin Johnson, Justin Jefferson, AJ Green, Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Marquise Brown. Pretty good company for Quentin Johnston. So there's some more. Yeah. There's some more boost for your Herbert hype.
Yeah, Marquise Brown is kind of like the little outlier there. I don't hate Marquise Brown, but he doesn't necessarily fit in with the rest of that company.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know what he would have done over this past season if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah.
That was a rough injury too, having your foot get crushed.
Yeah. He did have a pretty good rookie year, didn't he? Or he went through a stretch his rookie year where he looked like he was going to be a stud.
And Greg Roman is notoriously it's like he got bullied by wide receivers when he was a kid or something. Yeah, as soon as he's gone, all of a sudden the Ravens start stocking up on receivers.
Buck is at the barber shop. I forgot how he had to somehow get his hair cut.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Let's get back to this tracker here. All right, so the Saints pick is in. Rams are on the clock. Cowboys are coming up. There's still, there's still a couple players out there that I'm intrigued by. So A.T. Perry is a good wide receiver. I'd be very interested to see where he goes. Israel Abanikanda is a really fun running back out of Pittsburgh. He's someone that would be, let's see, of the upcoming picks. Rams, Cowboys. He'd be an interesting Cowboys pick, although he's pretty, I think he's pretty similar to Tony Pollard in a lot of ways. He'd be an interesting Bengals pick.
The third to last pick in the 7th round for this.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are traded the 127th pick to the New Orleans Saints. With the 127th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints have selected Jake Haener, quarterback, Fresno State.
All right, Derek Carr, Fresno State. Jake Haener, Fresno State. Ultra competitive. If you were trying to find the Brock Purdy in this class, to me, this would be the top candidate. Someone who's played a ton of football, who's very tough. He's accurate. He's a leader. Everything you want off the field. Lots of RPOs in this offense. He's got quick feet. He's got quick eyes. He can throw from different arm angles. He's got some creativity as a passer within the pocket. But CD, when he drove the ball down the field, there were times where the ball died a little bit. but everything you want from a wiring standpoint, he's got in spades.
And remember, he had that opportunity to possibly leave Fresno, go to Washington, decided
More
to stay
autism
at Fresno,
acceptance.
attended a bigger school, came back. But when it was time to play, lights came on. He was that guy, and his head coach, Jeff Tedford, loved him. Dean?
Rich,
Saints
we
traded
have
up for him, too.
major trade. Sources tell me and colleague Tom Pelissero that the Lions are trading starting running back DeAndre.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. The Philadelphia Eagles. This is something that has been ongoing.
That's some exciting news.
The last several days, ever since the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs, it has been pretty clear to teams
hell, man.
that Swift, a really, really productive starter, was available.
This Eagles
Philly
team.
always lurked there with a big-time need. Now they pull the trigger. DeAndre Swift to Philly.
He's from
Holy
Philadelphia. And then also, wait a minute, I'm looking it up. What college did he go to?
Oh, yeah. Another
my
Georgia guy.
Oh, that's right.
Didn't even think of that.
There's your hedges around the Liberty Bell. I mean,
I was going
hedges
to tell
around
you,
Rocky.
you better go check the kennel, make sure Uga's still there. He's not on a plane on his way to Philly.
You know, that's the Eagle. The Rams are in here, and I can tell you that the
That's pretty wild.
Oh,
I
he went
wonder
to
if
St. Joseph's too, so he's from
He's a Philly guy.
Philadelphia.
I mean, I know Lions just picked Gibbs, but I wonder if there was some locker room issues with Swift.
That seemed pretty clear to me. I think Swift is probably a guy who has to feel right physically to like he won't push himself if he doesn't feel right physically. And I think the team wanted him to, especially with the personality of Dan Campbell. I get the sense that he saw Swift as being kind of a bit of a pussy and like doesn't want to sacrifice himself for the team. And Swift is like, he's like a finesse guy that he's like, I want to get myself in the right. So if something's tweaked or he's not feeling right, he's going to like hold himself out of practices and he wants to get himself feeling right. So if he could go to a team that could use him like that, could let him get right, oh my God.
That's an exciting team.
Rams select Stetson Bennett.
There we go.
Huh.
Georgia.
Stetson Bennett is a
Stetson
Los
is a
Angeles
Ram.
And obviously, he enjoyed his night in SoFi Stadium in the middle of January. What do you think about this choice by the Los Angeles Rams? Stetson Bennett, two-time national champion and all his swagger to Los Angeles.
Hey, where did Matthew Stafford go to school?
Great call.
Got it. Yeah, I think they're mutual fans of one another. I think they know each other. Stetson Bennett, 2 national championships. Rich mentioned it, but to me, the tape is good. This is not something that where it's just, man, all this talent that they're blessed with at Georgia, and they just kind of went along for the ride. He made plays in big moments with his legs and with his arm. He's got a big-time burst as a runner. Ran a 4.67, and one thing about him, you can't argue, this dude loves the big stage. Every big moment, he rose to the occasion.
Underrated athletic ability, and one of the comps people had for him, as we all know, was Baker Mayfield.
Like athlete bingo or whatever. Underrated athletic ability.
Clicking with Sean McVay, playing when the season was lost, but playing awfully well.
He could be the
This
exact
kid
same
plays like
guy
that.
and have the exact same athletic profile and be black, and nobody would ever call him having underrated athletic profile.
That's true.
It's like Scrappy.
Yeah.
Real lunch pail
Gritty.
type of guy. Apparently Stetson was Les Snead's favorite QB in the draft.
Interesting.
So here's the trade comp. Hold on, I just saw it here. Okay, so the Lions acquired a 2025 4th round pick and a swap in the 7th round this year. So Detroit moves up in the 7th and gets a 4th round pick in 2 years in return for him. The Eagles are just on another level, man. It is just absolutely rude what they are trying to do to the NFL. I think that Jake Haener pick was pretty interesting too, because I've heard from a lot of people that outside the top 5 guys, the one who they said is the most likely to actually maybe have a not Dak level career, but be one of those later guys that is a QB that kind of has some warts, but actually is a legitimate starting QB. Jake Haener was one of those guys. Him going to the Saints is kind of interesting then.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be playing behind Derek Carr, and went to the same school.
Oh yeah, Fresno.
Pretty similar. Yeah. So they've got a lot in common. They're similar types of players, although Carr's got a bigger arm. How good do you think the Saints are going to be this year? Don't listen, Jim.
I'm trying to think of their makeup right now. Is Michael Thomas? That's right. I can't. It's been so long since he's played. Michael Thomas. That's correct, right? Is he playing?
Yeah. He's still on the roster. Says he's back.
Just that division is so I could just see so many teams being 9-8, 8-9.
Right again.
And the Saints could fit right in there. So I could see them win the division, but I don't know if that speaks to how good I think they might be.
So potentially it could be Derek Carr to Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, Rashid Shaheed, who really was coming on last season, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and then they got Jamal Williams. They still have Alvin Kamara, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And they drafted Kendry Miller, who's a kind of a similar type of player, I think. So they drafted him, a running back, in the 3rd round this year.
So I wonder about Zeke to the Saints.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Pick in the 2023 the NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Viliami Feoko.
I understand why you paused, buddy.
Yeah.
They got themselves a pass rusher out of San Jose State. Feoko, tons of production.
He actually pronounced that pretty well.
Yeah.
Excellent with his hands. He's got a variety of moves. He'll beat you with a chop move, a club move, a swim move. Really did a nice job.
Who's having the best draft so far?
The Eagles.
Yeah, it's got to be the Eagles. Colts are up there. I don't if Stroud is who the Texans think he is, which I don't really think he is, you could say that they're having a good draft based on their projections, but I'm not sold on Stroud.
Yeah, me neither. I need to try to remember. Let's see here. See if I can find something that.
Going back to the Saints discussion, I have never been real high on Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I know that's blasphemy to Buck, but just never been real impressed by Carr.
Yeah. He's like kind of the definition of quarterback purgatory to me, I think, where he's Kirk Cousins-ish, where he's good enough to constantly keep you competitive, get you to the playoffs potentially, but just for whatever reason, just never gets you over the line. All right, how do I sort this? Okay, so the Cardinals, they went B.J. Ojulari, or they went Paris Johnson in the 1st, offensive tackle from Ohio State, so automatically marks unimpressed. B.J. Ojulari, pass rusher from LSU, Garrett Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse, Michael Wilson, Stanford wide receiver, and John Gaines, guard out of UCLA. So I think they've been fine. Atlanta, Bijan Robinson, Matthew Bergeron, guard from Syracuse, Zach Harrison, defensive end out of Ohio State. So there's another red mark. And then they took that cornerback out of Utah. Let me look through these a little more here.
Oakland or Las Vegas. I think they've had a pretty good draft.
Oh, that's right, because they took Michael Mayer. So they took Tyree Wilson, Michael Mayer, Byron Young, and then Trey Tucker. I don't really know Trey Tucker, out of wide receiver out of Cincinnati, and Jacorian Bennett, the Maryland cornerback. But yeah, their first 3 picks were all were all solid. I feel like the Chargers, they took Quentin Johnson. They took Tui Pelotu. Yeah, Tui Pelotu, who's a great pass rusher. He's pass rusher only type player out of USC. And then Deion Henley, the off-ball linebacker for Washington State, and Darius Davis, the tiny TCU receiver. I think, let's see who Houston took. So they got Stroud. Oh, yeah, they took Juice Scruggs. Yeah, so Stroud, Will Anderson, Juice Scruggs, Tank Dell. I like Tank Dell, the wide receiver, kick returner out of Houston. Who else has had an interesting draft? I like what the Seahawks have done. I've been fine with their draft. It's like a B draft to me. It's just such a kind of a meh class in general.
Yeah. What do you think of Trey's question here? I think I know your answer.
Yeah, I think they are definite contenders. I think my early preseason MVP pick is probably going to be Trevor Lawrence. Their class has been, so they traded down twice in the first round, picked up some extra compensation, and they went Anton Harrison, the tackle out of Oklahoma. We could do the pick here.
Pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the AFC South champion, Jacksonville Jaguars select Tyler Lacey, defensive end, Oklahoma State. Duval! Let's go!
So they had Ventrell Miller, the linebacker, earlier. Now they come back on the defensive side of the ball and get big Tyler Lacey, a defensive lineman who's played as an end. He's also kicked inside, played over guard as a 3 technique. The productivity doesn't blow you away. There's a lot of activity, though. He's very disruptive, has a nifty little arm over move that he'll bust out. Again, spends a lot of time in the backfield, CD. I think there's more there. There's more there with him.
Absolutely. And we saw him at the Senior Bowl, and I think we saw some of that more there because he was much better as a junior at Oklahoma State than as a senior, especially on the stat sheet.
It is an honor and a privilege to be chosen the Cincinnati Bengals Fan of the Year. And I would like to thank the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals, and my incredible wife, Shelly, for this opportunity. I hope every one of you get the opportunity to do this. It's incredible. Now, before further ado, it's heads. AFC, pack your bags. You're coming to the city by the river. Who Day. And this next gentleman is going to get us there. With the 131st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select wide receiver Charlie Jones from Purdue. Who they think going to beat them Bengals? Who they think going to beat them Bengals?
All right, the Fan of the Year comes with props and picks.
He switched everybody.
I mean,
they've been nice. Hit him with the
this guy here is, I don't know, I kind of like this guy. He had like 17 receptions against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game. He was basically their entire offense.
Huh. I wonder if he's a Tyler Boyd replacement.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, 110 catches in 2022.
Wow.
And that's a lot. That's a lot in college.
Yeah, what's Tyler Boyd's contract situation?
Gus Johnson would always call him C Sizzle.
Of course he would.
I love Gus Johnson.
I do too. Cold-blooded. Oh, what was it? Oh, Tyler Boyd. The Galaxy soccer team just signed a player this year named Tyler Boyd, and we went to try to look up highlights of his to see like what kind of a player he is was a pain in the ass, because anytime you search Tyler Boyd anything on YouTube, all you get is
that Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Pittsburgh wide receiver, Bengals wide receiver. So yeah, he's in the last year of his deal. Cap number's 10-3. I wonder if Wow, they only eat. Let's see if they trade him. Yeah, they only eat like $1,400 if they trade him, and it frees up $9 million against their cap. So this to me strikes me as a potential Tyler Boyd out move.
Yeah, I think he fits in well with the Cincinnati offense. Yeah, he had 13 receptions for 162 against Michigan.
Jeez.
And then the game before that against Indiana, he had 4 for 143. So he has like the possession game as well as the long yak game, or whatever you want to call that.
I like what the Steelers have done too. Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, and Darnell Washington. Those are all solid picks, especially where they got them. They got Keanu Benton later. I thought he was going to go in the 30s. And then Darnell Washington was people talked about him in the first round, and he didn't go until the 90s.
Yeah.
I like what the Packers have done too. I think Lucas Van Ness is a fine player. Especially in the teens, he was right at that cliff where everything sort of fell off. And then they got Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, two good tight ends. And then they got a wide receiver, and then they got Colby Wooden, the DT out of Auburn. So I like what the Packers have done.
Where's Justin when we need him?
Yeah.
Somehow poo-poo that.
Yeah, he'd say they haven't taken a cornerback yet, so. Oh, Nick Herbig. That seems like that seems like just a prototypical Steelers pick.
He kind of looks like TJ Watt.
Yeah, he does. Athleticism, 63.
When you want to run games with him as well, he could spend some time playing off the ball at his size with his athleticism and speed. That won't be an issue as well. I think this is a really instinctive, tough football player who should have been long gone, in my opinion, CB.
Goes into the rotation with TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith gives him that extra guy coming off the edge. Might add a little bulk. He's a little bit on the light side coming off the edge. His brother, he got all the poundage, right? The big offensive guard, Nate. But this kid comes off the edge.
That's right.
Strong, physical, and quicker than you give him credit for.
Where does his brother play?
Pittsburgh. He's a Steeler.
Oh, okay. Steeler culture.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Jeremiah tweeted, "You go through the corner notes in the Big Ten, you see a lot of, quote, got run by Charlie Jones, a speedy guy who plays faster than his 4.43. That's pretty impressive, a 4.43, and he plays faster than 4.43.
Yeah. He's a good player. Now that looks delicious.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, I know I live in Texas now, but I got to admit, the best barbecue I've ever had was in Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah. It was like I'd never understood what it meant to have – where's Jim for this phrase? What it meant to have meat melt in your mouth. But oh, the perfect timing.
Look at his shirt.
Go Birds. Go Birds, baby.
Did you just go buy that?
No,
that's like a high school shirt, isn't it?
No, the university I went to, their mascot was also the Eagles. So I've been an Eagles fan for over 20 years. This isn't anything new. I'm not bandwagon jumping. I got the Eagles gear. I'm gonna be rocking it. Fucking Eagles all day. Jesus, what the hell, man? Like they're not even hiding it anymore. Yeah, we'll draft UGA players. Oh, we'll also go trade for a running back who's disgruntled in Detroit because he was always used to running in a committee with Nick Chubb, Sony Michel in college. That he goes to Detroit and they want him to be the workhorse, and he's like, "Nah, dog, I want longevity. I don't want a 3-year career." And some call that soft, and I get it. I call it smart. And now he's gonna go win a Super Bowl in Philly while Detroit still figures out how to play football. Eagles all day, baby.
Been a fan of theirs for a long time.
I've been an Eagles fan for multiple decades. That's as far as I can legitimately say it without.
We won't ask which Eagles. It's all right.
All right. Well, Should have been on a while ago. Apologize, guys, but I'm also going to eat, so don't mind me. Carry on with your meat melting in mouth discussion. I'll be in the background.
I've been eating the whole time, so you're fine. What's your now that you're going to go eat? Let me ask you a question. What's your which team apart from the Eagles? So non-Eagles team.
Mm-hmm.
Which team has had your favorite draft so far?
I think the Steelers have had a solid draft. I think the Lions. Well, no, not the Lions. I'm trying to think which teams have done smart things. That's a good question. I might have to think on that one.
All right. While you're thinking about that.
Oh, the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have had an outstanding draft.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bottom scrolling thing, and the Seahawks came up. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, they've been nailing it. At least their first 4 picks. I haven't really been paying super close attention today.
They got they got a huge offensive lineman and a huge defensive lineman. Both big space fillers.
Right.
So here's a tweet for you. If it ain't fixed, keep going broke. 2010 first round pick, Javid Best. 2015 second round pick, Amir Abdullah. 2018 second round pick, Kerryon Johnson.
Jeez.
2020 second round pick, DeAndre Swift.
Good old Detroit.
2023 first round pick, Jahmyr Gibbs.
One of these days, this is the ghost. This is the ghost of Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone needs to make that, the meme of the Grim Reaper going from room to room.
Yeah.
They need to make that, and the Grim Reaper is Barry Sanders wearing a Barry Sanders jersey.
I think this is a good pick by Minnesota for this late in the draft.
Jay Ward.
Isn't it crazy that we say like this late in the draft and we're like probably at the halfway mark?
Yeah. Well, it's just sometimes players get drafted and you're like, holy shit, I thought he was gone already. Like I thought for sure somebody would pick this up. And it's guys I'm not even thinking of until I see their name come up and I'm like, how did he last this long? And even though, we're only halfway through, it's like that guy's if he went in the early or anywhere in the 3rd round, I'd be like, yep, that feels right. I think that, I don't know how you don't take somebody like that at this point.
Oh, God.
LSU's DBU.
If you loved figuring out which of Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, or Kenneth Gainwell would score the most points, you're going to love choosing among Swift, Gainwell, Rashad Penny, and Scott. Oh, it's going to be such a fucking headache. Ooh, a trade.
So we appreciate them turning their camera on for us. So the Patriots get a 5th and a 6th from the Raiders to hop out. So that J.C. Jackson going to the Chargers now next to them a 5 and a 6. Again, he's trying to put all these things together and how they eventually cascade into human beings putting on uniforms and playing football.
Know what I love, Rich?
What, Charles Davis? What do you love?
Wait, when you take that where that pick came from and
Rich
work
Eisen just have a stroke?
You are the 23andMe of our draft board.
Again, it's Jack Andre.
Did Charles Davis just have a stroke? What is happening?
You and Jack collaborate.
It's 23 and Jack, not me. I have nothing to do with it.
I often feel that by the time you're done telling us the genesis of that trade and how it had resulted, that there's going to be a reunion at some point, a family reunion of all these trades and where the draft picks came from. I'll just put them all together.
I appreciate you
What the
saying
fuck are they
that.
talking
Thank
about?
you very much.
They made that seem really complicated. Just the graphic alone made sense to me.
You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, CS
Like they traded
like a
back
CS
9
Throw
spots in
your
return
shades out
for a
and just
6th round
use
I
pick.
don't have my shades. Yeah.
Shades in one word
But
sentence.
you know, the
Charles
ratio
Davis drives me
changed
crazy.
the beauty of
Yeah, I'm not a
David
fan of Charles
Russo,
Davis.
The greatness of
One
David
word.
Russo is
He's
he would
the
always
master
put the
of
shades
saying
on
in
his line, not
500 words what you could say in 8. He adds all this extra fluff, and he does it in this really weird way where he always sounds like he's reading like a live ad read or something whenever he talks.
It's just all fake.
Yeah. Are they still trading mid-draft, or is this something that was already decided that they just tell about on the fly? No, they're trading mid-draft.
Charles
They always
Davis
have.
is the Neil deGrasse Tyson of football.
Oh my god. Oh. Holy shit. I'm never going to not see that now. That was just permanently tattooed in the inside of my skull. Davis does talk like a woman, yeah.
Yeah, and so does DeGrasse Tyson, so
Yep.
it all fits.
They're both really catty.
Yeah.
To'o. I want the Seahawks to draft To'o, even though I don't think he's that great of a player, just so I can say To'o a lot. To'o. To'o Abanikanda. DK Metcalf is 25 years old. Charlie Jones will turn 25 this fall.
Nice. Metcalf's been in the league 3 years or 4?
I think this is his 4th.
4th.
Let us check. DK Metcalf.
Devontae Adams had, they just showed his stats, 1,500 yards last year. It was a quiet 1,500 yards, it seemed.
Wow, he had 1,500 yards?
Mm-hmm.
This is DK's 5th season.
The New England Patriots have
New England.
traded the
No
135th
England.
pick to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Everyone's having
With the
strokes.
135th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Aiden
There it is.
O'Connell, quarterback, Purdue.
Purdue guy.
Raiders Nation.
Aiden
Purdue
O'Connell
round.
from Purdue, and he had a terrific Big Ten championship game against Michigan, and really was
Yeah. No England.
incredibly accurate. And then
This is
great
kind of a
story involving
McDaniels
him.
system.
Now
Guy.
he's
It
a
makes
Las
sense.
Yeah.
Vegas Raider with Jimmy Garoppolo. Started hat tip to Ian for having that information. Pure pocket passer. You think about Josh McDaniels, the quarterbacks he's always enjoyed, guys that are processors and guys that are accurate. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to live outside the pocket. He's not going to live outside the structure of the offense. But the ability to look off safeties, deliver the ball with anticipation and accuracy on time, that's what he does best.
Interesting in recent picks, we got Charlie Jones from Purdue going, who transferred to Purdue to play with Aiden O'Connell because, one, they throw the ball around. Two, they knew each other from the 3rd grade, played in the
Yeah, that's right. They traded up. So trading up for a quarterback is probably a sign that they like him. I wonder who they're trying to get ahead of. Jacksonville, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Arizona, Cleveland. So maybe Arizona. I can't imagine that the Jags would be drafting a quarterback now. Maybe Buffalo? I guess Indy could draft another one.
Yeah.
Arizona would definitely be a threat to draft a quarterback.
This is going to be the year where Aiden O'Connell and Hayner turn out to be the stars.
Yeah.
And we're going to look back on it and be like, Bryce Young, bust. Richardson, bust. Levis, poor guy, bust.
Stroud, bust.
Yeah, Stroud.
Yeah. Tyler Scott with the Bears. Oh, yeah. So, I remember Tyler Scott from Cincinnati. So the Bears added another wide receiver. That Bears offense is going to be pretty fun.
Yeah. What do you think Magoo's eating?
What do I think of Magoo's eating?
No, what what do you think he is eating?
Oh.
I
Dick.
saw a
Oh,
fork and a knife.
Oh, Dick. I don't know. He might be quarterbacking. He just has like a kind of an elegant way of going about it. like Hannibal Lecter. Clarice.
I knew that'd bring him back.
What's up?
Oh, were you not listening?
No.
We were wondering what you were eating. Don't tell us. Matt first said Dick, and then he said maybe quarterbacking in a very distinct and elegant style. That's kind of gay.
No, it's just breakfast at 1:30 in the afternoon. Little Denver omelet, little roasted potatoes.
Okay.
You make that for yourself?
I mean, I could, but then I wouldn't be on until like 2:30, so I just ordered it in.
It's like, this is attempt number 6. Just a bunch of burnt
No,
eggs.
normally on weekends I make a big late breakfast, but normally the draft isn't happening, so nope. I had to Uber Eats that shit in. There's a really decent breakfast spot, like 24-hour breakfast spot down the road.
So 24-hour breakfast, making food on Saturday morning means, okay, by this time of day, they've probably got the overnight crew out of there.
Mhm.
They had the early morning crew come in and clean up and get things started for the day. So it seems like there's a spot between maybe 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. where you might not want to eat the food that comes out of there.
Yeah.
Gonna be a little rushed.
Yeah.
A little half-assed. Yeah, nobody in their right mind's ordering breakfast at 1 p.m. Except this guy.
There's a 24-hour coffee shop not too far away from me.
Interesting.
The coffee between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. It's not worth it. I like the concept of there being a 24-hour one, but going at that during those hours isn't the best idea.
What are you doing where you're getting coffee at 3 in the morning?
I think so when I would go, it was when I was basically on overnight schedule.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So my nights off, I was like, well, I'm awake, so I'll go drink coffee at 3 a.m. The best part of the place is its name is the Bitter End. I always enjoyed.
Oh, that's a good name.
People ask what I was up to. I'm like, well, I'm at the Bitter End right now. Are you okay?
I was gonna make another quarterback joke, but we got to hold off. We got to keep him fresh.
I've never been to a Waffle House.
What?
Me neither.
Oh man,
I grew up in Washington.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking Waffle House in Washington.
It's not so much about the food as it is the employees, the other patrons, the shit that goes down in the parking lot, and it really doesn't matter.
Literal
where you
and figurative.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are distinct differences between Waffle Houses. There's very much such thing as let's go to the good Waffle House. And then there's a lot that are like, I don't know, I just want to be entertained. Let's go to Waffle House. And that's a very different Waffle House. For reasons that everybody can figure out.
Does it vary from location to location? Like, do you know, like this Waffle House is the one you go to, at 2 a.m. This is the Waffle House that you go to at 11 a.m.
Yeah, like this is the Waffle House I can take my parents to when they come into town to visit, and then that's the Waffle House I can go with my.
Not gonna have someone throw a chair at them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, the food's the same everywhere because it's just the same shit. But there are actual people that take pride in working at Waffle House, and those are the good Waffle Houses. Where they bring you extra napkins without being asked. They always make sure your drinks are full. And
so it's got like a Chick-fil-A kind of vibe. I mean, the culture-wise, like the
good ones do. Yes, the good ones do. But the bad ones, you might as well be in any shithole in the hood where it's a prison work release that's running the place, and they've got beef with the customers.
Yeah, they're offended that the people came there to buy food.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
they were like,
motherfucker, I'm getting off in 30 minutes and you're making
doing
me...
lines in the back. Yeah. Oh, man. I spent 1 weekend in Atlanta a few years back, and that was the first time that I ever went to Chick-fil-A, but didn't make it to a Waffle House while I was there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here. Waffle House's headquarters are right down the road. this is the home for Waffle House. I didn't go to a Waffle House until I was in college. It was just, it wasn't like a thing. And I remember my stepdad is the one who found out. I didn't even think Waffle House was anything because it was just always around. And I think we were on a road trip up to Maine when I was a teenager. And we stopped off somewhere in Virginia, got a hotel room, woke up in the morning. He was like, all right, we're going to go to Waffle House for breakfast. And I was like, ooh, cool. I've never been there. And he was like, what?
He almost threw you out the car.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. He's like, I'm having second thoughts of marrying your mom now, son.
Get out.
She's clearly been abusing you for 14 years. All right, what's going on here? Cardinals pick is in, but they're talking about who just got picked.
Oh, this is a really interesting comparison here. It's this is terrible for this medium. So it's the stats for Brett Favre, his junior and senior seasons, and Anthony Richardson's freshman and sophomore seasons. And Anthony Richardson's freshman and sophomore seasons were significantly better than Brett Favre's junior and senior seasons.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also Brett Favre was not, I mean, he was just a gunslinger coming out of college. He was not touted as anything great. That's why the Falcons took a flyer on him and then never did anything with him. It's because the expectation, like Jerry Glanville did not want Brett Favre. He didn't like him. He was like, the boy from Mississippi. And plus he didn't try. When he was in Atlanta, he'd show up to team meetings drunk, late, wouldn't practice. He was out all night partying. And it was him being traded to Green Bay is what snapped him into, I should probably take this seriously. Otherwise, I'm going to lose this opportunity in front of me. And so nobody was expecting him to turn out to be anything other than a high round or a low round draft pick that doesn't do anything.
I wonder what Brett Favre's stats are regarding outgoing versus ingoing nude pics sent.
Probably similar to his touchdown to interception ratio. Pretty even.
Have you seen the Brett Favre commercial? The Danny Woodhead commercial?
No, but this
oh my
this
God.
is setting up nicely. Danny Woodhead.
Oh my God. I don't know if playing this on here is going to get the video taken down, but I mean, it's been taken down before, so. Is that your dog, Jim?
Yeah.
I hope you've got your gun handy.
I'm glad he's back. He had to make a show. All right, Mark, there you go. I'm so happy I get to watch you guys watch this.
Heard that before.
Don't look away. Stare at it.
Is this like meta cucking? You're like watching the guy.
Digi cucking.
I sent you the link, Mark.
All right. I'll get there eventually.
One of my favorite jobs that I ever worked was actually Quiznos.
Interesting.
It was a lot of fun just sitting there. Like I've always thought that I'd love to retire and live in like a beach town and run a little sandwich shop. Just you run in, you make sandwiches every day and hang out and chat with the locals and stuff. It's a very zen experience.
That does sound like a good time. You probably just like made so many subs that you just kind of entered this weird zone when you just kind of bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, you want a number 7? And then
you
zone out and make it.
Just autopilot. That was before I'd ever smoked weed. If I smoked weed when I worked at the sandwich shop, number 1, I would have gained even more weight than I did. And number 2, I really would have just gone into the haze.
All right, is this showing?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do? Should I admit that I've made mistakes? Should I remind you that I've done this before?
Should I give you a history lesson?
What should I do? Should I tell you how much fun we had? Should I stay retired? Maybe coach high school football? Tommy, completions are way more awesome when you force them through triple coverage. Remember that. Should I hint at coming back next year? Should I be really cryptic about what I actually mean? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Should I show my dick to people? Want to see my penis? Or should I tell you? I am not a role model. I'm a jeans model. Seriously. What should I do? Should I send pictures of it? Or I can use Viagra. Should I be who you want me to be? Should I accept my role as the creepy old guy? Looking good, Chuck. Maybe I should just despair. Then I could change my mind a couple months later. I could reappear. Then I could despair again. Then I could reappear again. What should I do? Should I just leave voicemails instead of dick pics? Hey, Jim. It's Brett. I had a meeting today. That ended. What should I do? Maybe I should Google image search for big dicks. Just text those. Say it was mine. Yeah. That'll probably work. What should I do? What else should I do to stay in the spotlight? Should I end the video now or let it run for another 6 minutes? Let me rephrase that. If I end the video now, would you watch it again? What? Keep me in the spotlight a little longer. I'd really appreciate that. Want to see my penis? Purple helmet, my private jet, my QB sneak, my Peyton Man thing, my Adrian Peterson. Want to see my Danny Woodhead? That's not even a joke. I just think he's a good player. Like, name my penis after him.
At first, I was like, "Oh shit, is this like a Lifetime movie that they made about him?" And I thought it was real. I was like, "Whoa, all right, hell yeah."
Oh man, a friend of mine in college, we used to. Danny Woodhead became an inside joke for us for a while because that video was my fantasy team name for a long time. The private jet.
Fuck yeah.
Adrian
This would be
Peterson.
an amazing job. And then context between him clarifying what B-dubs was. I was on his show once and I offhand made a remark about B-dubs and I decided to explain to the listeners and watchers what B-dubs meant. And Justin goes, I think everyone's aware of what B-dubs means.
So he
All
knows
right,
talking shit.
So Mickey D's. It's another term for this place. And hold on to your fucking skirt. This is gonna blow you away. McDonald's.
Oh my god! Imagine someone who drafted or who traded DeAndre Swift at some point in the last couple of days because Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted. And they were like, I just got to sell. I just got to sell now. This is as bad as it can get. I'm just gonna get something for him, and then he gets traded to the fucking Eagles. undo.
Yeah, refund that shit, man.
Vikings
Damn
traded
Eagles.
up. So the Cardinals took a quarterback. They took Clayton Tune. Is it Tune or Tooney? I've
Tune
never actually
sounds
heard it
better.
said.
I've never heard of this guy.
He's a quarterback from Houston. So they're keeping the keeping that spread offense thing going. And then DTR went next to the Browns. That's a pretty interesting backup. Dorian
Yeah.
Thompson-Robinson from
Yep.
UCLA.
Should be a solid backup because he put UCLA in a position to win games that I didn't think UCLA should have any right.
Oh man, the Jaguars got Yazir Abdullah, linebacker at Louisville. Yeah, man, the Jags. I don't know if you heard we were talking earlier, Jim, that I'm thinking that Trevor Lawrence. I reserve the right to change this opinion later on, but for now, I think my preseason MVP pick is probably going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. I mean, they were only ascending throughout the year last year, and this being the second full year with Doug Peterson and that offense and everything. I don't think that's a wild take at all. Yeah, on ESPN they're going over the Browns selections, and definitely the Tennessee quarterback and the UCA or the Tennessee wide receiver and the UCLA quarterback. I like those. And then the Vikings.
Here, how about this? Here, we'll get your take on this. Most likely landing spot for Zeke.
I could see him either being a Titan or any team in the NFC South other than the Falcons, because the Falcons have already filled up their running back room. But I think the Saints have question marks with Kamara and his future. I don't know who is going to be running the ball in Tampa. And didn't Carolina just get rid of their 2 leading rushers, or only one? Because Deontay Foreman is now a Bear, I believe.
They still had Chuba Hubbard.
Okay. So, yeah, I think either – I don't know why the Titans, but maybe lighten the load for Derrick Henry or any of the other 3 NFC South teams, I think he would be a good fit. I don't know if he'd want to go there, though.
What did we come up with, Mark? Or Mark's gone.
I'm back.
There he is. What did we come up with? We said the Chargers maybe. And,
for Zeke?
Yeah. The Raiders maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Saints was the last team.
Yeah, Saints, that's right.
It's just I wonder if Zeke would want to stay in the NFC or go to the AFC. Like, I don't know if he would want revenge against the Cowboys or if he doesn't want to face them.
We did bring up the Eagles, but it was before the trade.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, that's out.
And that would have been a perfect move because you're taking a interconference running back just to stick it to him.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, Philly just literally, I don't know if they're the smartest people making these picks or if they're the dumbest by just going to that team. Whoever went to that team, we want.
They're just like national champions, so their players must be good.
Their draft board just has one word: Georgia. That's it.
Sometimes the simplest solution is the smartest.
Yeah. All right. Are we still in the 4th round?
Some idiot libertarian.
5th round.
Pipes in, yes, that's why we give everyone freedom.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm looking back through the Falcons picks and did not like the Syracuse offensive line pick yesterday. I guess I don't mind the Zach Harrison pick from Ohio State. Just got to get him acting more like a 2nd-round pick. And then I think today they've only had one, and it was Clark Phillips III.
Yeah.
Cornerback out of
German
Utah.
Corner, I believe.
Don't know much about him other than they absolutely beat the shit out of USC in the Pac-12 championship. And, that's the next best quarterback, best since Trevor Lawrence or whatever that they're trying to build up for him. And, well, he's a cornerback that was a unanimous All-American, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. I guess I like it. Not knowing anything about him, I'll take it. It at least is a position of need, so that's cool. I like it when they do those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say overall for the Falcons, I'd give them a C for the draft. C plus maybe.
Oh, did I see the Cleveland picked DTR?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about that. Might have been when you dropped off.
Okay. Interesting.
So the Vikings traded up. Has it been announced already? Yeah, the Vikings traded up for Jacqueline Roy, defensive tackle at LSU. He was one of the last players that kind of seemed like he was falling. Oh my God, Abanikanda to the Jets. Oh, that's so much fun.
On another roster, and the 49ers are better off with the draft pick compensation
R.I.P.
or
Michael
player
Carter.
they would get. I'm not saying they're definitely trading him, but I'm saying there is a reason to do so at some point.
Thank you, Ian. I mean, that's no question food for thought. I mean, if Trey Lance is somebody that might be available in the honestly,
So they do they still have Michael Carter on the roster? Or?
I thought they did.
Well, also, don't they have James Robinson? He's clearly got to go away now, like out of the NFL entirely.
Why is something telling me that James Robinson went to the Patriots?
Oh yeah. I think he got traded from Jacksonville
Yeah.
to the Jets, and then from the Jets to New England because he was disgruntled. He's been disgruntled like at his last two teams because it's like, just I can still fucking run, damn it.
Yeah. Michael Carter is still in New York, but he is. I don't see him playing ahead of Israel Abanikanda for very long.
Yeah. New York also had that. So when Hall went down and then Carter went down, they had that Knight guy who had like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Zonovan Knight.
Came out of nowhere.
So I can't tell if they're. I've got ESPN on over here, and then NFL Network on our stream, and I can't tell if they're showing highlights of a player that's been picked or best available. But on ESPN, they're showing a LSU defensive tackle, and I think that they're trying to say he needs to. Nope, he's the one that the Vikings picked. Yeah, they could be covering picks like 7 picks ago on ESPN because they're schizophrenic.
Right now on NFL.com's website, the Patriots pick has been revealed, and it says the Panthers are on the clock.
Antonio Maffei.
Yep.
So we've reached the part of the draft where they're just like not announcing them at podiums anymore.
Right.
It seems. The UCLA guard. I know nothing.
Yep.
No.
Not a thing.
And I think the NFL Network is just going to be doing a lot of talking. ESPN is at least, they're playing highlights of, like, let's review the last 10 picks. All right, so what do you know about this guy? As they're just flashing the decisions on the bottom. But
Magoo, does LSU open as the favorite to win the SEC this year?
No.
Is it Georgia or Bama?
It's not Bama either. I'm trying to think who's the favorite to win the West and who's the favorite to win the East. Georgia's the favorite to win the East. But in the West, it could be LSU because they have both their quarterbacks returning. And I think they're only going to get better with.
They had a good class.
Yeah. And I think they got their head coach situation figured out with Brian Kelly. And I don't expect them to fall off a cliff.
I could just see a lot of people just kind of LSU not necessarily being a cute pick, but a trendy pick based on last year's results.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. I still think that Georgia has talent enough on their team to potentially go for a three-peat. And I don't think that will happen only because by now, after the last 2 years, you've lost enough players
to the Eagles.
Where it's just unproven. Like we have our dude. God.
It's a typical bitch for you, man.
It's funny, Justin,
it's a dude.
It's a dude,
dog. Yeah.
Okay.
Justin said, "Did the Niners take a QB in this draft?" And I just scrolled past a tweet. It says Ian Rappaport just said on NFL Network that he, quote, would not be surprised if the 49ers took another late QB here. They've done all their homework on the back end, guys.
2 Mr. Irrelevance and 1 depth chart.
I wonder who has Mr. Irrelevant this year. That's a good
I'm not sure Forte
browser to freeze up.
Where the Finns are picking.
The Texans have Mr. Irrelevant right now. The 49ers are 5 picks away from Mr. Irrelevant. So they got to trade back.
He's at podium.
Youth Health and Wellness Initiative through Generation Youth. Please welcome Ava Palmer.
Hello, Kansas City. With the 145th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Jamie Robinson, defensive back, Florida State.
Nice job. And Jamie Robinson has some versatility. That's been a little bit of the theme of the day. He plays as a high safety. You also see him drop down in the slot. Really, really twitched up really quick. Quicker than fast. Didn't run as fast as you would have hoped. But he's at his best when he's near the line of scrimmage. There's times where they'll actually put him in a 3-point stance like he's an edge rusher and let him rush off the edge and make plays. But to me, the speed was the knock CD. That's probably why he's here at this point in time in the draft.
And don't forget, they're going to take Jeremy Chin and move him closer to the line of scrimmage, make him more of a hybrid guy.
All right. I mean, he's just a guy that you add, you put him in practice, see how he develops.
I couldn't tell is his name Jamie or Jamie.
They say Jamie, but it doesn't necessarily have to be spelled that way.
That is definitely Jamie.
Jamie. Which is a fun name for a defensive back, but you know.
They're going to accuse that poor little white girl of racism because she didn't pronounce his name the right way.
I like the Mingo pick by the Panthers there. I think the Panthers have done fairly well for themselves. Bryce Young is not my favorite quarterback in this draft, but I can understand why they took him. But yeah, then I really think that Carolina's set up to be a pretty interesting team this next year. Sorry, Jim. I know. I'm saying
if I were the Panthers, I would get Cam Newton back in the building because I think he can still play for another year and have Bryce sit behind him. Because you also know that Cam's going to get hurt at some point, and then you put him in. I don't like the idea of Bryce being a day one starter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think just even if he like cognitively could handle it, I think you've got to give him at least a full year in an NFL weight room. It'd be just malpractice to send him out in front of NFL players now.
Because one thing that y'all said when Stetson Bennett was taken by the Rams, I think is truly accurate. That if Stetson was Stequavius Bennett, they'd be saying he's the greatest fucking athlete, this draft, right up there with Bryce Young. But if you look at like the pictures of the game, or the pictures right after the 2021 Natty that where we beat Alabama, and Stetson is right there, eye to eye with Bryce Young. Stetson is slightly looking down at him. And so for Bryce Young to be his size and to be the first overall, I mean, not for nothing, but Stetson has 2 natties while Bryce doesn't have any. And not many Alabama quarterbacks can say that they don't have any national championships going into the NFL. But we shall see what they end up doing. I mean, I think Stetson, if he gets, I think he has just as much of a chance at being successful in the NFL as Bryce Young.
One thing I don't know if you heard talking about it earlier, that apparently Devin Achane was Mike McDaniel's must-have guy from this draft. So that probably bodes well for, if you want a fantasy take, that probably bodes pretty well for Devin Achane in fantasy.
Oh, I would pick him up in a heartbeat. I was bought in on that kid from, I think, the Arkansas game, the A&M Arkansas game that they have in Jerry World. That was the first time I sat down and watched a full A&M game, and he was solely responsible for all the offensive production that A&M had that day. And I think that it's a travesty that he was rated at whatever number in the running backs for this draft. I think that'll end up proving itself out.
So if I asked you to choose who would have the best fantasy season between A-Chain and Gibbs, you'd take A-Chain?
Yeah, because I have more faith in Miami's offensive scheme than Detroit's. Detroit, I don't like. Last year I was watching them like, what the fuck are they doing with their running backs? It was like a child was running it where, okay, we'll use Swift to get us between the 20s, but then once we're in scoring range, it's Jamal Williams and no one else. And so I don't know. I doubt they would do that with Gibbs, but they might hold him until they get into scoring position. And I don't know if I don't know what the Detroit Lions' plans are for their running backs. Maybe just to piss them off and use them wildly and consistently, but the Dolphins, I think I just respect their offensive mindset more than I do Detroit. Oh, hang on, I'll be right back.
There's been 10 quarterbacks drafted.
That's wild. That seems high.
I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there were the three right away, and then the wait for Levis.
Mm-hmm.
And these last few rounds have had these other cats. The stars.
Mm-hmm. Highest QB career win percentage. Jeez.
Wow.
I wonder how long Mahomes is going to keep this up.
Yeah. I thought you'd see a slight reduction in offensive production last year with Kill gone, but just kept rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And if the tight end they drafted pans out once Kelsey starts to slow down, then I mean you can't replace Kelsey completely, but you can kind of bring someone up behind him.
Yeah. All right, so now they're to the point in the draft where they're recapping old picks.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, there's 2 Seahawks picks coming up here in the next 8 picks or so. I'm going to hang out for those, and then I got to get running. Never get a weekend off.
No? Did you take it off specifically for this?
No, I'm saying that I don't get a weekend off.
So you have to work.
I have to go to work.
That's why you have to do it. Gotcha.
Yep. I've been sitting here fielding real estate texts while we've been going.
So the Titans pick up a tight end. Probably a pretty decent pick out of Cincinnati.
Two receivers gone from Cincinnati and now tight end. Probably all heavy contributors on that playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that Russell Wilson money.
Well, they are slowly making the Kyler Murray contract look less ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of good timing, I guess, for them to get that contract in because it got leapfrogged quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. The Steelers have had a good draft, a good Steeler draft.
How's the quarterback for Cincinnati this last year? Is he any good?
I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
Ben
The
Bryant.
guy behind Desmond Ritter. You could put him up on screen. I'd be like, fuck if I know.
What'd you say his name was, Matt?
Ben Bryant. He was initially committed. He was a 3-star, initially committed to Wisconsin. 6'3", 214. He's 23 now, redshirt senior. Let's see, this last season, there's so many Cincinnati pass catchers that I've seen going. I was like, who's a quarterback there? I don't know if these guys are still just getting drafted on their history with Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
Or if anything was continuing there. It looks like he was at Eastern Michigan in 2021 and then transferred back to Cincinnati for 2022. 61% passer, 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Negative 2.5 yards per carry average. He had 47 carries for minus 118 yards. Is there something where doesn't college consider sacks negative rushes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what that is. Yeah.
Yep. College football counts your sacks as negative rushing yards.
But they don't count interceptions and whatever the interception return is as negative passing yards.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Purdue, that was Aiden O'Connell, right? The Raiders drafted him.
They were just showing the Titans picks, and I didn't even notice it because why would I? But they've gone all offense. Skronsky, Will Levis, the running back from Tulane, and
Spears.
Yep.
Interesting. Their defense has been pretty good for a while now. They're pretty good at getting. They're from that Patriot school of you get a bunch of guys together to play where the sum is better than the or what is it, the whole is better than the sum of the parts.
Look at Green Bay's pick. Oh, Jordan Love. The heat is on, brother.
I mean, is it really on with a 5th rounder? But yeah.
But yeah, I agree. The Titans are, it's the Mike Vrabel Patriot kind of mindset as far as defense goes. But I mean, their offense has been dog shit outside of just Henry. Once you get rid of A.J. Brown, you brought Julio Jones in just to be shown up close and personal that he's probably not that guy anymore.
Huh. So the guy they just drafted was the guy who beat out Will Levis at Penn State.
Well, there you go.
Wait, who took Stetson? Is that the Chargers?
The Rams.
Oh, the Rams?
Mm-hmm. So they're going to have Matthew Stafford showing Stetson the ropes.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that for Stetson?
He's going to need weapons around him. I mean, the LA offense is Cooper Kupp and that's it. So if they can just get some weapons around him, or mainly an offensive line, if Stetson just doesn't have to run for his life every fucking play, then I think he has a chance because even though he's undersized, he's not inaccurate with the ball. He can chunk it a decent way. I wouldn't say he has a rocket arm or a cannon or any of that shit, but he can make plays with his feet when the play breaks down. And all you got to do is look at the Tennessee game this past fall when he ran it like 30 yards when a play broke down and took on a hit from a linebacker and still scored a touchdown. Like he's little, but he's tough as shit. And I think that I think he'll be fine I don't think he's going to lead. I don't think he's going to be the starter at any team. I think he's going to be a solid backup probably for the most of his career that will come in and give you flashes of like Fitz magic kind of shit. And then if he's ever given the full opportunity, I don't know if he'll capitalize on it. Because I think like in the NFL, once they figure out his game, I think that it might render him kind of ineffective. But I also feel the same about
most teams had Sean Clifford, the guy that the Packers just took, the quarterback. Most teams had him as a priority free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, not draftable.
Right. Yeah. Guy that they should have let it slide.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be a Packers fan on draft day.
Yeah.
So frustrating. Yes, on ESPN I pulled up Sean Clifford to see what the write-up is on him, and there's literally none. Literally none.
He beat out Will Levis, and Will Levis was drafted ahead of him. I don't know if that's praise.
So who's the biggest,
I don't know if
who's the biggest surprise like slider in this draft? Do you think like Levis dropped to what, second pick in the second round? I don't think that was necessarily surprising. It was either teams were super high on him or super questionable, and the fact that he dropped out of the first round means that they were all pretty questionable on him. Who do you think is like the biggest loser of the draft? Like who slid the farthest?
Probably Darnell Washington, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking too.
Well, or if you ask the players themselves, it would be the edge rusher out of Georgia Tech. He definitely thought he should have gone higher based on his
that's
reaction
right.
when he got drafted.
Keon White.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Morris, never heard of him. Bull Rush Power. Could you unmute this here? Or is that Mark doing that?
Yeah.
It's Jalen Duncan from Maryland, an offensive tackle. He'll go some point in time before this draft is over. Showed you his power in that game. He also has a little bit of a nifty up and under. Not the most dynamic, elite get off and burst and athleticism, but somebody who's going to be dominant against the run, is going to be able to push the pocket with his power off the edge.
Michigan defense has had a lot of guys selected.
Hey, they're going. Wait till you see next year. Yeah, they've got a ton of dudes. They're going to be loaded next year.
This is similar to when Georgia had all those guys last year. People are like, well, what's going to happen? Oh, they came out won another national title.
That's interesting.
Michigan's going to come back and
all
be right
the
in
Seahawks
same
picks have
for
been from
Wayne.
major colleges. Illinois, Ohio State, Auburn, UCLA, LSU, Mississippi State, and then Michigan.
So they interviewed Howie Roseman, the GM and executive vice president of the Eagles, for why the hell he was taking all these Georgia players. And he was quoted as, now they have people to rely on. They have people here that they know have their back, so that enhances the chemistry and culture of our football team, maybe even gives you a head start on that process a little bit. Roseman also joked that he's likely to lose his spot in Florida's Alumni Association. So he's a Florida Gator. Shit.
Oh, yeah, The Athletic is great. I love their football shows. Sean Clifford is 3.5 months older than Jordan Love.
Damn.
Just makes it so much better. I guess they needed somebody to...
They're just drafting a coach.
Yeah, they needed somebody to come in and like be Jordan Love's like brother or something.
Yeah, come on, little buddy. Let's go do some football things.
Let's go figure out this offense.
Oh, Buck's breaking news in the chat. The one above that.
Oh. Say what? Oh man,
we already talked about it, Buck.
Now feel bad about yourself.
That's right.
If he was on here with us instead of getting his hair, how long does it take to get a haircut when you get that much hair?
Hoes before bros. That's the life you're living. It's unacceptable.
I mean, it takes me, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, I think, to cut my own hair. I imagine a professional should be that speed or quicker. And then you add in travel time. So I don't know. Maybe an hour, hour and a half.
Last time I got my hair cut was I got a trim, like maybe an inch taken off when we first got here last year. But prior to that, the last time I got my hair cut was in the winter of 2018. Buck has a good haircut now.
Yeah, I haven't.
All cut?
I haven't paid for a haircut since I think 2001.
Wow. Who does it for you?
Me.
Oh. Why do you have to have drive time factored into your haircuts?
No, I was talking about for Buck. I was trying to figure out how long does it, because the question was, how long does it take to get your haircut? And I was like, well, for me, 15 minutes, but for Buck, maybe that plus travel time. So
I used to get 2 haircuts a year, and I did both of them myself. I'd throw a 2-guard on and just buzz my head down, and then I would do that in August, and then I would do it again in April. That was my 2 haircuts a year. That was what I used to. Now I actually keep it like mostly professional looking. And after I went for 3.5 years without a single haircut and grew it down past my shoulders, then I cut it and I actually keep it like looking nice, or as nice as this gets.
Now we got to see some pictures of you with
hang
the
on.
hair down to your shoulders.
I've seen them.
Germany.
I know.
With the 153rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Borussia Dennis, linebacker, Pittsburgh.
Why do they keep doing that? Servassier? You got to be kidding me.
I really would like to see the video of the home shot where they're celebrating this pick right now.
Yeah, I wonder what they're drinking.
Servassier.
Huckalee, Huckalee, Huckalee.
I see Buck has made an appearance in the comment section.
That's just too much math for me, man.
Fuck, dude.
The
Seahawks pick is in.
Oh boy, I don't know who it is. The Lions drafted the 53rd ranked offensive tackle.
What? Why?
What's his stats? Like, is he just big and a behemoth like dude? Did he bench like 550 or something?
I haven't seen any info on him. He came out of William and Mary.
6'6", 300 pounds.
William stuck it in Mary and produced this behemoth, huh?
Oh, Steaks finally took a center.
Oh, there we go. Olu. I like Olu.
Oluwatimi. Oluwatimi.
He's kind of a genius. He's a very smart guy.
Like, legitimately?
Oh, yeah, he's like super smart.
Hmm.
Transferred to Michigan for his last year from Virginia.
I came to Michigan to play football.
Yeah.
Looks like he was the 6th ranked center.
Wow.
I think he might
steal
be
for the
undersized a bit. Is why it's a 5th rounder.
They list him at 6'3", 309. I mean, you don't want your center to be.
No,
you don't necessarily want your center to be 330 or something. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, just look at Jason Kelsey. Not the biggest dude, but he's shifty.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get caught up to learn.
Is this where the Niners take their second Mr. Irrelevant?
Oh, so the Seahawks just took back-to-back Michigan players because they took Mike Morris too.
Oh, okay.
What position is that?
He's defensive end.
The Remington Trophy as the best interior offensive lineman in college football in 2022.
So
yeah,
Michigan.
Go ahead.
Their center won it that trophy in 2021 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy transferred in from Virginia and was actually an upgrade from the guy who won it in 2021.
Yeah, the Michigan offensive line 2 years in a row were Outland Trophy Award winners. That is the best offensive line in college football. Even though there was some disagreement about that down here, you can't take it away from them that they had beasts that I think all NFL teams, look at who's getting the awards for being the best of their position and go get those people. Like,
Did we miss this last? So I was just pulled up the Niners draft so far to see who they've taken, see what they might do. Did we miss the fact that they took a kicker in the end of the third round with one of their compensatory picks last night?
No, we covered it.
I was pumped.
And because Rich Eisen broke away and was doing his entire monologue about kickers are people too.
Yeah, that's right.
I must have gone to take a piss or something. I missed that one.
You missed Belichick trading up for a kicker earlier today.
Oh God.
In the fourth round.
You can tell it's a light draft when they're taking kickers in the third and fourth round.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they've now kicked it to their indoor crew.
Oh, I'm really getting the hot take coverage now.
Yeah.
Who are these cats?
That's Maurice Jones-Drew in the middle.
Oh, MJD.
Hell, unmute it just to. I like his takes normally. They're pretty funny. He's like the Charles Barkley of football.
You got my man Jamar Gibbs to come in.
Our running back.
I love that. Draft him at 12. You go a linebacker because you couldn't stop the run. You had his trouble stopping the run last year out of Iowa. Playmaking tight end out of Iowa. Then we go back. Get the top corner. At least I had one of the top. I would say he was probably top 4 corner in the draft. And Brian Branch.
Best nickel.
Yeah, they built on things that they need. Where everyone in your division is kind of going the other way, they're getting better. I love what they're doing here. Obviously saw Hayden Hooker as well. I'm excited what they're doing.
I'm excited about them, but I'm going to go with another. Okay, let's go.
All right. Well, I guess the Lions had a pretty decent draft as well.
Clemson for the Chargers.
Huh. Mike Morris for Michigan tried to choke Kenneth Walker after the play was over in a game. Now they're teammates.
Yeah, it's not. But Michigan Ohio State is the bigger rivalry. Michigan State is the one where they actually hate each other more.
That's funny.
After the game last year, Michigan State players ganged up on a couple Michigan players in the tunnel leading to the locker rooms.
I remember that.
Actually, like charged with assault and battery and everything.
That's funny.
I remember that. That was some hood ass shit.
They were just pounding them with their helmet and stuff. It was,
yeah, it was assault with a deadly weapon if you charge it correctly.
Huh. Apparently, Oluwatimi, the center from Michigan, was also at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah, was it Air Force then Virginia?
Yeah. A lot of people were projecting the Seahawks to take a center in the first round because they kind of need one. But they signed a free agent from the Lions, Evan Brown. And he played guard for the Lions last year, but he played center the year before, and he was a lot better. I guess he moved back. Was it Frank Ragnow as the Lions center, I think? So he's probably come to the Seahawks to play center. But he's not a sure thing. So yeah, it's interesting. I think they probably wanted to draft a center earlier, but the board fell away from him.
Yeah. Olu, when he transferred into Michigan, he learned the playbook very quickly. So that translates pretty well to the league.
Who was the center several years ago who was drafted by, I think the Ravens drafted him, and he was like a legit genius, like a legit like 190 IQ guy or something. Who was that? John Urschel.
John Urschel.
Yeah, I think he retired because he was drafted by the Ravens out of Penn State, and he retired like to become a mathematician. He's published peer-reviewed articles in mathematics, and he has a doctorate from MIT. So he got his bachelor's and his master's in mathematics from Penn State before he graduated, and he got a doctorate from MIT while he was playing with the Ravens.
He decided, fuck this football stuff, I might go do math.
Yeah. He was, while doing his master's at Penn State, Urschel was involved in teaching vector calculus, trigonometry, and analytic geometry, and introduction to econometrics.
Those are words you're saying, I think.
He co-authored a paper in the Journal of Computational Mathematics as an NFL player titled A Cascadic Multigrid Algorithm for Computing in the Fiedler Vector of Graph Laplacians. It includes a cascadic multigrid algorithm for fast computation of the Fiedler vector of graph Laplacian, namely the eigenvector corresponding to the second smallest eigenvalue.
You've said a lot of words there.
So
we're going to take your word for it that they're all real words.
Fast computation might be the one phrase out of there that I understand.
Yeah, the other words actually sounded kind of similar to female reproductive organs, but I don't think that's what it was.
He's a fallopian philosopher.
Colts take a safety from Cal.
Daniel Scott.
If you got two first names, you're probably going to be a badass.
Unless you're George Floyd.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. So, where's Toto going? We getting him anytime soon?
Still out there, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. He could go a lot of places here, actually. The Rams probably need linebackers. If the Colts probably don't.
Maybe you can get him here in Green Bay, Justin.
Didn't we already take a linebacker? Do we really need another one?
It's Green Bay. You can never have enough linebackers.
Yeah,
that's true.
Do you own any shares of the Packers, Justin?
You know, if they would have drafted an offensive player at any point when they had Aaron Rodgers, I might have bought some shares. But
what is it? 49% is fan owned or something? I don't remember what the percentage is.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know if the Falcons have any more picks, but I would greatly appreciate if they picked up Toa Toa. Because I think we need another linebacker. Our linebacking room is kind of soft.
Let's see here. When do the Falcons pick next?
No single shareholder can own more than 4% of available Packers shares. So you're not going to be able to buy enough to make any decisions.
Falcons don't pick for quite a while.
Yeah, unless we trade up, we're going to be diamond in the roughing it.
They might be done.
Yeah, because I never kept up with whatever the Falcons lost in their draft trades this weekend. So we could be over.
They have picks 7 and 8 in the 7th round left.
Wide receiver from Virginia. Taking all the offensive players this year.
That's such a troll.
Yeah. Second team all
Man.
ACC.
He had 430 yards last year. I don't know if he was injured, but
In 2021, he had 1,203.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
school record.
So maybe some injury.
Okay, so this might be the biggest faller so far to me. A.T. Perry. Is he still out there?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to go in the 2nd round.
Yeah. A.T. Perry, wide receiver out of Wake Forest, is still available.
Wow. He's one of the few legit big wide receivers in this class. He's 6'3", 200. He was fast too. Ran a 4.47. I can't figure out why he's falling. All right. Well, I got to bounce, guys.
Rock and roll.
I'll sell some houses.
Yeah.
Do my best. Have a good one. See you later.
See ya.
Later, man.
Oh, down to just the three of us again. Nothing good ever comes of this.
No,
combination.
nothing. We can't. I mean, we could turn it into a college show the rest of the way if we wanted to. Go rogue. Antonio Johnson to the Jags from Texas A&M. Does Texas A&M actually have a winning season this coming year?
Ooh. I mean, they better. Otherwise, they're going to...
Bye-bye, Jimbo.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money that's a lot of money to lose.
It really is.
Especially after bringing in Bobby to come be your OC to take the heat off of Jimbo.
Yeah, one of my favorite aesthetics from the whole debacle at Texas A&M is Jimbo on the sideline with his cocked hat and his glasses on, reading that really confusing looking play sheet, and
just
obviously
always
calling the
looking
wrong
up
one.
like, who?
Yeah. It's like, well, you called the wrong one again, Jimbo.
Yeah, Falcons got picks 224 and 225 if they don't trade up. So it's going to be a minute. And by then, I don't think I will care anymore. And also, I've got about one more hour before I got to run.
And say by the end of the 3rd round, or by the end of the 5th round, does anybody really care anymore? 4th and 5th round is where you kind of put together the guys who are going to be your backups, fill holes on the like I said in the chat earlier. This is where you're going to fill the backup holes on your O&D line. You're going to get your special teams and special package linebackers and stuff like that, and you're going to get your nickel and dime or defensive backs. You'll fill out the tail end of the roster on the wide receivers, and your third quarterback or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
time to fill out your special teams roster.
yeah, 6 and 7. That's where you're just getting the dudes that are probably getting cut in for camp.
Mm-hmm. Future practice squatters.
Right. So I mean, we could probably knock it in the head at the end of the 5th round, and still have covered everything.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, that's still another 15 picks to go. Actually, with that in mind, I'm going to go refresh my drink and grab some chips and salsa.
Okie dokie.
Be right back. Not getting a twisted tea though.
No, that's kind of gay.
That commercial makes it look so appealing, but just.
So what is it? Just Long Island iced teas in a can?
Pretty much.
You.
Mark, I'm going to give you the audio controls back.
Careful.
Tonight on NFL Total Access, don't forget, Dak was a 4th.
Dak was a 4th round pick. That's crazy talk.
What are your plans for the rest of the day?
Well, I probably need to take my dog out for a walk because he's been kind of pent up all weekend so far. And I got a buddy coming over. I don't know. It's beautiful weather. I might go to the store and get some shit to throw on the grill.
There you go.
I'm definitely out of beer due to the last 2 nights. I had 2 12-packs as of Thursday. I have 0 beers as of now. So, yeah, probably a grocery store run, take the dog for a walk, potentially throw some shit on the grill. And that will likely round today out. I think there's a UFC fight night tonight, so I'll probably end up watching that. But not before getting on all of the UGA message boards and Falcons Twitter and really trying to digest what the hell we just saw. And because like especially now there's so many picks coming in, they're not showing highlights of everybody, they're not even really addressing it, it's just a scrolling kind of a deal. And like I can only really keep up with teams picks for like the first 3 rounds, and then after that it's like there'll be teams that have like 9 picks in the 5th through just in the 5th and 6th round that could totally change who the hell is on their team, and I don't even know who they are.
Yeah. What's the temp down there in Georgia?
It is. It's been really cool, like unseasonably cool for the last week and a half. It's 75 right now.
Okay.
Which for late April, I mean, May is next week. That's unexpectedly nice. Normally we're in the 80s by now. And it usually rains about once every 2 days. And so the humidity typically is kicked up. It's been a super comfortable April, which means we're probably in for a real shitty summer.
Oh boy. We got 60 here. And then the next 3 days, it's going to be in the 40s, which is kind of depressing. So once we're done with this, I might go for a run before it starts raining.
All right, I see the pick is in for the Vikings on our screen, and pick is in for the Bengals on ESPN. They're a little behind. Chase Brown, running back from Illinois.
There we go.
And now the Vikings. It hasn't been announced yet, though. Yeah, and my fucking oversized puppy has just been taking up all my time outside of paying attention to the draft.
Is he your only dog right now, or you have another dog?
The only one.
He's the only one.
Yeah, I've gone the last 9 months without a dog, and then this one came up on my radar, and I was like, sure. It's only been fucking 16 years since I've had a puppy. Let's try that shit again. All right, the Vikings get the quarterback out of BYU.
Jaron Hall. I watched a BYU Baylor game last year. It was a very boring game, but I remember the name, Jaron Hall. I think he had a decent game.
51 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in last 2 seasons. All 22, or that totals 22 starts. Yeah, at this point, it's like, this guy, we might not ever see this person ever. Or he could come off the bench, throw a Hail Mary game-winning touchdown because Kirk Cousins broke his vagina. And then all of a sudden, poof, he's the next big thing. Like, I have no idea who the Vikings have selected. They haven't stood out at all in this draft. The Bears have made some decent.
No, the only Vikings one that stood out was the receiver. I can't remember his name. But we were like, oh, that's interesting because he'll be playing with Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I think this Chase Brown guy had a lot of production in college.
I remember Illinois being surprisingly good last year.
Yeah.
Especially for Illinois standards.
It's Bielema, so they're running the ball 60-70% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, up until the TCU game, they gave Michigan their closest game.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Illinois, they were ranked, I think.
Yeah.
And I know Illinois fans were like, oh my God, this is our year. This is like the best year they've had in 15 years or some shit like that.
I guess he's staying in Illinois. Wait, is he the one? Did he go to the Browns? Did Brown or Bears? Wow, this is going on too long.
Yeah. All right, cornerback out of Minnesota. I can't believe that nobody's jumping on Toa.
Yeah, are there injury issues with him?
No idea. He's literally the only player with name recognition left for me anyway. I don't know any of these other guys. Hearing about him for the first time. Which is why I kind of think the draft should only have 5 rounds. 6th and 7th round, you literally just, because you're still going to sign undrafted free agents.
It's just a glorified undrafted free agency. Once you reach round 6, round 5.
Yeah.
So,
and this could be a 2-night thing instead of a 3-day thing. Have the 1st and 2nd rounds in night 1, and then the 3rd through 5th and day 2. Have rounds 1 and 2 be a Friday night thing.
The NFL is real good about turning everything into an event.
What I'm really surprised at, though, is when they're doing the crowd shots, the sweeping, overhead cam shots, there's still a shitload of people there.
Yeah.
Like a fuckload. And normally by now, they're all gone. So this Chase Brown dude, running back at Illinois, had the 2nd most rushing yards in Illinois history with 3,206. He's from London, Ontario. He's a Canuck. And he was a award finalist for the he was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, which is obviously for the best running back in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bengals may have gotten their Pirine replacement.
Where did Pirine end up going?
It's a good question. For some reason, I wanted to say the Seahawks, but I think Matt would have mentioned something about that.
Yeah.
Or fuck, maybe the Chargers. Let's take a look.
Oh, Patriots.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, wait, Broncos. Patriots or Broncos? Why am I seeing two different things? Broncos.
He's running back for the Denver Broncos, is what it says on the Wikipedias. Yeah, I think I heard. Okay. I think that's right. I think he's a Bronco.
Sounds like a Sean Payton guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. The one primary factor for us as scouts and coaches is let's watch the tape. Who's the best player on tape? And in our opinion, Bryce Young was the best player on tape.
Coach, one of the things that stood out to me in talking to the guys at Alabama about Bryce was kind of the obsession that he has with this thing. It's not something he's interested in. It's not even something he's dedicated to, that he's absolutely obsessed with the work that goes into it. How much of his background as a person mattered as well as what you saw as a player?
Yeah, it does matter. It all matters, as you guys know. And it is that obsession thing that you see with a lot of great players, especially with great quarterbacks. You felt that with Bryce. Not only great focus, but this obsession to get better, not letting anything get in the way of that. You could feel that all throughout the process. Every discussion we've had with him, everyone you talk to, this guy had a different level of focus and just obsession about getting better. I mean, that's really what it came down to.
And then was he the guy you had in mind the day you pulled off that trade with the Bears and then you just did due diligence? Or did you finally land on Bryce and you had your suspicions, or your team, you had your leanings on the day that you pulled off the trade with the Bears, Coach?
Well, there's no doubt. And especially Scott Fitter and the scouts who were ahead of us as coaches in the process. But he was the guy that was in mind. We did commit to going through the whole deal, and we did that. We stayed true to that. We kept an open mind, but what happened as we went forward, the conviction just continued to build.
Frank, you bring in so much experience yourself as a former quarterback and an offensive coordinator and a head coach in the league. What about the room that's going to be there for him as well, with Andy Dalton and those other quarterback voices, whether it be Josh McCown or Jim Caldwell? What's a support system to ensure that Bryce Young has the greatest transition to the NFL?
Yeah, that was a big deal. We built this staff with that, with that in mind, knowing that we're going to bring in a young quarterback, give him the best chance to succeed. And part of that is the dynamic of the quarterback room is a big deal. That started with getting Andy Dalton. Just felt like his experience would really weigh strong into this whole equation. Then you get Josh McCown, Parks Frazier, Jim Caldwell. And then really for us, the main voice in that room will be Thomas Brown as the offensive coordinator. So it'll be Thomas, Josh, and myself really.
Former dog, Thomas Brown.
All of us using a combined effort, trying to get Bryce ready to play.
Hey, Frank,
Thanks, I love that. Bryce Young's going to have to listen to a dog. Yeah, all I want right now is for the Falcons to trade their final 2 remaining picks to go up, get Toa Toa, finish off their draft this year, and I can feel good about that.
Call the day.
For some reason, I got a feeling that when you go and draft a Syracuse offensive lineman and trade up to get him, that you're not going to be making those kind of decisions today.
Probably not. Well, I would end this now, but Justin apparently is still gathering his spread.
Chips and salsa takes a long time to make, man.
Oh, here we go. Henry To'oTo'o to the Texans.
Son of a bitch. Well, the Texans also had a very good draft, but it's kind of hard not to when you have 2 of the first 3 picks.
Yeah. I said earlier, it could be a real good draft if they're right about Stroud. I just don't think that they're right about Stroud. I do have biased glasses though when it comes to him. So
yeah. I think he could be, but for some reason there is something to the fact that Ohio State cannot put out a successful NFL quarterback.
No.
It don't make no sense. Similar with Alabama. It's the reason why I'm not really sold on either CJ or Bryce.
Yeah.
Like they're just following in the line of really good college teams that aren't able to produce once they get to the NFL at that position. Which is why I think it would be funny if Stetson Bennett was more successful than either of the 2 of those guys. Not because he's a dog, just because, any quarterback taken from the 4th round on, if any of them are more successful than those 2, I would be for it.
This is a long interview with Frank Reich.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I just really. Owen Popo, linebacker.
Owen Popo.
He was highly touted coming out of high school. I just don't know what he ever became in college because Auburn was so bad while he was there, and that had more to do with their coaching staff, just them trying to openly get their head coach fired by starting rumors about him fucking an intern.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a dumpster fire and a laughing stock that it was impossible to pay attention to any individual player's accomplishments while he was there.
Yeah.
But I do remember Georgia wanted him coming out of high school, and it was one of those commit, decommit. I'm now Auburn, and but I remember he was highly touted coming out of high school, and if he only got better in college, then I think that's a good pickup.
Justin, we're fading quickly, man. At one point while you were gone, I asked Maku what the temp was down there.
We had weather talk.
This is not the weather talk show. I mean,
what? When I
if we're
run
gonna
out
do
of
weather
things
talk,
to
we need
say.
to invite Dag and Clyde for
Yeah.
weather talk.
Yeah, that would actually be entertaining for these last few rounds.
Well, and at this point, the only player with
wide.
the only player with name recognition that I still was aware of. Damn, that's actually a pretty decent little offensive lineup.
I forgot about Miles Knight.
Oh, To'oTo'o went to Houston, so they're kind of doing a little something with that defense, huh?
Mm-hmm. And then also looking at the Vikings, their first 2 picks were 2 guys out of USC, and then their next 2 picks were 2 guys out of LSU. It seems like a lot of draft rooms were just like, I don't know, dude, just zero in on one college and get a couple of their guys. But To'oTo'o was the last player with any name recognition. Everybody else from this point on, I will not know, more than likely. Unless they were.
Sorry it
at
took me
one
so long to
time-
get back. I might have stopped and run a weed eater for a minute.
Yeah, he said I'm gonna get some refreshments, and we needed his whole yard.
Yeah, Asim Richards, offensive tackle, North Carolina. Fucking no clue.
Hogadone.
Yeah. Damn it, Falcons. You should have traded your final 2 picks to go get To'oTo'o. But I think they've checked out. I think that there's a lot of NFL GMs that are just like, I don't know, dude. Just do a random selector.
Ow. Fucking hey.
Let's see. You still got A.T. Perry.
Ohio State Center's still out there. Somebody will likely snag him up. Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa
what's
State.
his name? Luke White People. What was it? Matt was talking about Regjon White earlier. The Oregon State corner. Not necessarily that he was particularly good. He's a bigger corner though. He's 6'2", 190.
New York Jets trade their pick to the Raiders. That should be showing up here in a second.
Let's see. Kentucky's running back is still on the board. I don't know if he gets drafted or not. He's a good back. He does well with contact, but he can't catch a cold. And in today's NFL, that doesn't really translate to being useful as a running back.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mel Kiper's best available as they put it up on the screen, and there might be one or two guys that I could loosely be interested in, but they're not going to last the next 50 freaking picks to get to my team. I think I'm just going to have to grade what the Falcons did with the picks they already got, and I'll stick with a C.
Coffee's been catching up to me.
If it was 2 years ago and we still had Aaron Rodgers, I would think the Packers did a pretty decent job in going after offensive talent.
Mm-hmm.
With it being Jordan Love and a lot of holes on the defense that those games were unwatchable. Like, their defense could not stop anybody. I was turning it off by halftime almost every game. Like, I mean, we all did the show together for the whole season. Every week I would watch the Packers game, and every week we would come on the show and I would talk about how terrible their defense was. Of all the years to go out and draft a whole bunch of defensive players, why not do it this year? And instead they drafted a bunch of wide receivers and tight ends. Like, fuck me.
I fucking heard that. Yeah, I'm just scrolling to see if there's any news on anything that's happened today. All my shit is just Eagles stuff now. Everybody's posting, fuck it, I'm an Eagles fan now. And also something about that, yeah, the Falcons aren't even in my newsfeed.
They are an afterthought.
I'll propose a trade, Jim.
What's that?
I will trade you a 14-year-old for your loud dog.
Nah, I think I'm...
Cash considerations as well.
No, I think I'm starting to warm up to the old Duke. I mean, fuck, I've only had him a week.
Why isn't your 14-year-old out weed eating?
Yeah, because apparently he sucks. We've tried multiple times to weed eat, and for some reason, can't get one of the weed eaters to work now. And the other one shot the spool out because it only had like that much line left in the spool. And so we just stopped. It's like, I've got 4 more spools. Like, all we got to do is put another one in there.
Now, this is a pick I'm surprised that waited this long. But good on you, Raiders.
Christopher Smith.
Yep. He's a solid player.
Now, why do they call him the second instead of junior?
I think it's a black thing.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's the last.
I had to ask, and felt.
You probably got the response you wanted.
Yeah.
And I forgot about Chris Smith. I think he's the last dog in this draft.
Trey has a question for us.
Uh-oh. I mean, I think they just have to do it because they are trying to have some, appearance in Europe. That's why they're doing all the damn games in Germany and England and all that stuff. And so they're just forcing
Rumor has it the games in Germany sell incredibly well. Like not so much the ones in London, but the Germany games, like apparently those do really, really well. And the NFL fans in Germany are like hardcore, like they love them some American football. Whenever they get games, they get stoked about it. So I mean it has some potential. If they try to like move a team to London or do some dumb shit like that, I think that would be a step too far. But doing a couple games every year overseas, like, yeah, that's cool. I bet they could get some traction. Haven't they done some in Mexico City? I know the NBA has done some games in Mexico City, and those usually do really well too. Like
Arizona and the 49ers typically do the Mexico City game because the fan bases are well represented there.
Has there been like actually I know there has, because there was one in the Big House, Michigan Stadium one time, like a Manchester United versus whomever soccer game in the US, which is kind of the inverse of sending American football abroad, since we're not really into soccer here. But yeah, when they played that big soccer game here in Michigan, like it was a pretty big, like the stadium was full.
Yeah, I mean soccer is big in certain parts of this country. Typically wherever there's a large Hispanic population, like here in Atlanta, where when we got an MLS team back in like 2016, 17, whenever it was, I was like, this is so dumb. Yeah, nobody gives a shit about soccer. They sold out every game in their first season and then won the whole damn cup like in their second season. And I was like, okay, well,
your hands are wet. No, I think this is a good pick for Tampa Bay. The Purdue tight end, he's pretty big dude, good body, good hands. I think he's okay.
Like they just posted on ESPN the all the players that Tampa Bay lost from last year to this year, and I don't think that they could fit them all on one screen. I think there was like ... at the end.
I mean, they lost. Oh hell, OJ Mayo. No. OJ Howard.
Yeah,
OJ Mayo was in the NBA for a very brief time.
That's
it also said they lost
OJ Howard, so this is a good replacement for him.
But it also said that they lost Leonard Fournette. Where the hell did he end up going?
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
I didn't either.
Look at the LA Rams run here at the end of this round.
Probably just free agency.
3 of the last 5 picks.
New York gets the running back out of Oklahoma. (2022) second team all Big 12, which I don't know if that means anything.
I don't know. Oh, Eric Gray, that's a familiar name. Runs hard.
Yeah. I don't even know. Just getting depth at this point.
Yeah. I don't know the answer. I'm not sure who the Rams have even drafted, Trey.
All I know is
Let's
that they
see.
drafted Stetson.
That's true.
Rams. You've got Steve Avila, the guard out of TCU. Byron Young, the D end out of Tennessee. Kobe Turner, D tackle from Wake Forest. Stetson Bennett, and Nick Hampton, a linebacker from Appalachian State.
Hmm.
And you've got 3 picks coming up here in quick succession. So
We'll give them a C.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where they've got so many holes. It doesn't matter what you give them. Like this is not going to be fixed with one draft. And not having any first rounders. I mean, only 1 second rounder.
Yeah, they went all in for 2021 and it worked. And they got a while before they can build that thing back.
Right. I mean, they got 4 fifth rounders and 4 seventh rounders. You're not building a team off of that. You're building a stopgap. So
Might tank for Caleb Williams.
do they have any first rounders next year?
I don't know.
Probably
they did
not.
trade a lot of them.
I don't know that they've got any first rounders next year either. They're probably going to be in like a super fucked.
Yeah, the 49ers are up. The only team to draft a kicker in this year's draft.
If the 49ers had an established quarterback, we wouldn't talk about them in the way that we talk about Philadelphia and that they're just loaded. But they don't have a quarterback that is proven.
I mean, they still have Trey Lance, right? They haven't traded him yet.
Yeah. Apparently Shanahan's not a big fan of his, and so we'll see how that works.
Fuck, I'll take him.
They've reached 6 NFC championships in a row.
Yeah.
6 in the last playoff.
good.
Yeah. The last 6 times they've been in the playoffs have been an NFC championship.
I'll be right back.
This is like legit the same kind of feeling that like fantasy drafts start to get. Like when you get past round 6 or whatever in a fantasy draft, you're just like, well, I guess I'll draft the 7th running back and maybe he'll boom at some point.
Yeah, it is kind of. It is kind of, I don't know, it gets sluggish. It's sometimes you'll have guys that like really fall, or you'll have somebody that's like a cool, that's got like a cool story.
Yeah.
That'll pop up in these late rounds like this. But I don't know. This year is just kind of a very average kind of draft. Like nothing spectacular, I don't think.
So I, speaking of fantasy, I renewed the league last week. I know you re-signed up, but the reason I did it so early is I was trying to get someone in the league's email address. A cousin of mine. I don't really want to say anything why, but this is a very specific reason. I was trying to get his email address so that we could hack into it to figure some stuff out.
Oh Lord, I think I know where you're going on that.
Yeah.
Well, more power to you. I hope it worked out.
We had to find another way, another route.
Sorry. I am trying to find a replacement battery for one of my. Oh, that's expensive. I mean, it's what I need. But
For what?
my wife's granddad had a nice, big, like really long reach weed eater. But the battery, only one of the batteries is functional, and it's getting to the point where it's not anymore. I'm having trouble getting it to charge today. So I really need to get a replacement battery for it, but I've been dragging my heels on it because it's like $70 just for battery.
I once had one of those stupid corded weed eaters. That was a mistake. I was like, I don't have a big yard. It still was a mistake.
Maybe I should just go get a gas one and move on with life.
Yeah.
Nope, there we go.
Another Georgia
So the
guy.
Rams took them.
All right, so I was wrong. There were still at least 2 Georgia players.
Give us the.
So Robert
analysis
Beal,
of this guy.
Robert Beal, who went to the 49ers, he is a fucking stud. I don't know why they don't have him as the this best available list that Mel Kiper has is quite short-sighted. Robert Beal is the fucking man, and he'll do just fine with any team. He'll be great on the 49ers. Warren McClendon is, I think, the biggest guy that was on Georgia's offensive line the entire time he was there. He's just a brick shithouse, and he mauls people. His run blocking is insane. He just goes down the field and just destroys linebackers and secondary. So,
and for a right tackle, that's kind of what you want.
smart move by the Rams. Now they're doing Georgia player selected.
Buck's got a question for you.
Oh, he's great. He was the smartest player on our defense. Made key plays when, like, if just go back and look at the SEC championship against LSU this past December, where we blocked a field goal, but Christopher Smith knew that he could pick up the ball and return it. And while the team is running off the field, not paying attention, he scooped it up and ran it back for a touchdown. So very smart player. He's not going to be physically dominating anybody. He's not like just a huge gym rat, but he will make all the plays necessary. Very, very, very smart football player. You're in a good in coverage. Yeah, he's usually in the right spot at the right time. He's rarely out of place, unlike Keely Ringo. He's usually the guy that cleans up Keely Ringo's mistakes. So I would give a thumbs up to that move for the Raiders picking him up.
That's what you want out of a safety.
Yeah, the first play that made me aware of Chris Smith was in the season opener, the 2021 season opener against Clemson, where it was such a shootout because neither offense was able to do anything because of the shutdown defenses on both sides, that Chris Smith picked off Ukulele, DJ or whatever, Ukulaba, whatever the fuck, and returned it, housed it. And that was, I think, the only touchdown scored in that game was his pick six.
This is well, I don't. Maybe Justin played a little safety in high school.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Solid backup. Spent a lot of time on the bench.
I like these Clemson unis. Well, now they're gone. The blue and the orange.
I think it's purple and orange.
Purple and orange. You're
I'm
right.
colorblind. Fuck off.
You're right. It's kind of like the.
But it's so dark purple that it does come across as blue.
Yeah. Where did Ugalele end up transferring to?
I think he transferred to a Pac-12 school, but I could be mistaken. He might have transferred to, I think, Oklahoma, maybe. So that's not a Pac-12. Let's see.
Oregon State.
I was right the first time. Yep. He's a Beaver now.
I'm a fan of Beaver.
You're a fan of Beaver?
Yes.
Like Justice Bieber?
No. No, not that one.
This is it. Last pick of the round. I'm out after this. Oh, there's what? Oh, Rams.
The
Okay,
Colts and then the Rams. We got one more.
Yeah, but I think I'm with Mark. I think after the end of the 5th round, I'm probably going to wrap it up.
I suggested that. I said we should just kill it after the end of the 5th round. It puts us at about 3.5 hours. We've had plenty of football talk.
Extensive NFL draft coverage.
Not like anything happens in the 6th or 7th rounds anyway.
No. Yeah, I got.
Well, the most exciting thing of today was probably the Swift trade, which is pretty big news.
Yeah, Philly going and getting Keely Ringo and then immediately trading for DeAndre Swift just to, I guess, give double birds to the entire NFL saying, yeah, you know what we're going to do. So what?
Now all that needs to not happen in Philly is their backup quarterback. Talk about them being a super team. What was it that Vince Young said back in the day when they had
he said
a lot of big offseason moves and they kind of fell flat in the season.
Said they were a super team. That they were bound for glory or some dumb shit.
This is the year after
Bound for
Vic
greatness.
went off.
That's the one. And then they just completely fell apart.
Oh, so Buffalo got rid of Isaiah McKenzie, and he's a Colt now. Little undersized, shifty receiver that I'm surprised is still in the league.
Did you see that, Jim? Said Jonathan Taylor had career lows in yardage and touchdowns last year.
Oh, you don't say. He also missed 6 games. Yeah.
34 giveaways last year. That's a lot of turnovers.
That's all. Yeah. A lot of turnovers.
It's because I had Matt Ryan throwing swing passes.
Bouncing left and right.
So if you bounce a swing pass that goes laterally, I mean that's a few giveaways there.
Is that what we get to look forward to coming out of Carolina now?
Bryce Young bouncing swing passes?
I mean, if it didn't work for the Colts, why all of a sudden do we think it's going to work for the Panthers?
Yeah. Evan Hall. Here is
2-time honorable mention. Al Big Ten. Whoa.
In his defense, there are some good running backs in the Big Ten, but I still don't know if I would want that to be as my.
Why? Yeah, please make sure you include this if I get drafted. Put it up on the screen.
I mean, with that being said, you could arguably be the best running back in Northwestern's history and still only get honorable mention in the Big Ten. Like, because you're going to have Ohio State backs, you're going to have Penn State backs, you're going to have Michigan backs. Like, there's usually going to be a lot of depth in front of you for who's going to be making that.
I'm really pissed off that you just mentioned Michigan third in your list of Big Ten schools.
Well,
I do
mean,
think it would be awesome if the Rams got Kenny McIntosh running back out of Georgia right now.
I was just thinking of teams that usually have like really like stud running
Yeah,
backs.
you got Saquon out of Penn State. I got you. Although you did skip over Wisconsin.
Well, I don't know. When was the last time Wisconsin had a? Oh, I mean,
Jonathan Taylor, Monty Ball, Melvin Gordon.
Yep.
Melvin Gordon was pretty good.
Until he decided he doesn't know how to hold on to the fucking football.
true. Yeah.
To the point where Broncos finally had to be like, we have to get rid of you.
Right. It's like the Broncos are letting Russell Wilson roll out here and throw 3 picks a game. But Melvin Gordon, you've gone too far, dude.
You could have went with the old school Minnesota, Lawrence Maroney and Marion Barber.
Really
They're pretty good.
Really dialing it back there.
Yeah.
Puka
Nakua. Puka Nakua.
Puka Nakua.
Hardly a Mormon name.
Right.
I don't think he was native to BYU.
You don't say.
Don't think he grew up in a polygamous community.
I wonder if he was upset about the no females in your dorm room.
Yeah. Might be a big fan of soaking though.
I don't know. I'm pulling up his picture. He looks like he's pretty white.
I'm not gonna lie, the Northwestern running back that Indy just picked up looks like he could be on any episode of To Catch a Predator. I think he'll fit in nicely with Gardner Minshew.
Unfortunate.
There's Puka.
Oh.
That's not what I was expecting at all.
No.
Something seems off.
I'm gonna need a 23andMe on this alleged Puka.
His birthplace is Provo, Utah, so he probably is
straight up Mormon.
This is I feel like I don't know anything anymore.
Maybe I don't know. Do they do mail order brides for their polygamous communities there in Provo?
It's very possible. It's very possible. Mail order brides are popular in some parts of the country.
Certain communities, yeah.
Just gonna leave it at that. Not gonna elaborate.
No need.
All right, we got anything else we want to talk about today? I mean, I know this draft is still going on, but
I think I'm good.
No, I'm I think I'm good as well. Interested, I will still be watching offline, but I'm interested to see where Kenny McIntosh goes. And I'm I guess still interested to see what the Falcons do with their last 2 picks, but I just don't know what's going to be left by that point. So I think we've seen all the good stuff. The rest will be watching to see who the busts become and who the unsung heroes are that nobody saw coming, like Puka.
Puka out.
Still can't believe A.T. Perry hadn't gotten picked yet. But yeah.
I don't even think they're trying at this point, Justin. I think they're literally just throwing darts.
Draw a name out of a hat and roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well,
so go Eagles, fly, go Birds. I'm now a fan. I'll be rooting for you begrudgingly. You forced my hand. That's all I got.
Go football.
When are we doing this again?
What's the next big date for the NFL? I
The
guess
NFL release, the schedule release is the next one.
Yeah? I don't even know when that is.
I mean, I feel like we should do some shows before that. I
just don't know if there's going to be any news. Not until they start doing OTAs. And
I don't have any knowledge concerning baseball these days, so
I've been trying, but I'm not so far succeeding.
The
I watched a couple
NBA
NBA
playoffs.
games over the weekend, and fuck that. Not interested in covering the NBA.
Unwatchable.
Man, especially after watching March Madness this year and how good that was, and like just genuinely good basketball, good games, good defense, like just good basketball. And then I watched a couple NBA games. It's like these dudes can't shoot. They don't try to play defense. It was like they'd scored like 75 points at the end or by halftime, but both teams are shooting like 35%. It's like nobody's fuck this. I'm not watching anymore. I'm done. Like this is garbage ball. I don't want it. So we won't be talking about the NBA playoffs. I don't give a
Yeah, I don't give a shit. The Hawks won 2 more games than I thought they were going to win against Boston, but they're officially out. I have no reason to pay attention to any NBA thing for another 10 months. The only thing you need to know about baseball is that the Oakland A's are trying to be the worst team in MLB history with a 5-22 record at this point in the season. And oppositely, the Pittsburgh Pirates have the best record in the National League. And they've been perennially the worst team in the National League, fighting it out with either the Nationals or maybe the Rockies. But out of nowhere, Pittsburgh
will do this from time to time, though. They'll be really good in April, and then by the end of June, they'll be back at the bottom of the.
I don't know who won the World Series last year.
The Astros. They beat the Phillies.
Okay, and Atlanta won it the year before
against the Astros. So the Astros are still good, but they're second place in their division behind the Texas Rangers, who picked up some pitching in the offseason. But all I know is that the Braves are 3 games better than the Mets, and we're playing the Mets right now in New York. But for some reason, they took today off, even though they played yesterday, and they're playing the Mets in New York tomorrow. I guess they just wanted to stretch one out or rub one out, whichever one you prefer.
Potato.
Yeah. So baseball's doing baseball things, but it's not going to get important until July or August. So, like I said, kind of a lull at the moment. I'm probably not even going to pay attention to NFL stuff until the summer workouts start, OTAs, and we start getting a little bit of a lineup, a roster, a depth chart kind of starting to come out to see if any of these draft picks potentially could become anything. And until then, I don't really know what, unless the trades still happen and shit like that starts going down.
Already, good God. Sorry, I should have muted myself before I told my son to die already.
No,
and then they're coughing all day. Just keel over. Put us all out of your misery.
Go drink something, man. Jeez.
All right.
I'd give him a shot of that bow and clear him out, but go ahead. That's the wrap. Do your real bland monotone outro.
That's kind of gay.